Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender at the AstroPub, your space bartender universe. Welcome to the Captain's Table. This is a podcast where I bring people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about the various aspects of the game, news, theory crafting, lore, discussions on aspects of the gameplay. You name it. We've talked about it at some point in our 6-year history as a podcast, the second oldest podcast in continuous podcast in Star Citizen, behind the relay station. So, with that all being said, let's get started with some introductions, and then we'll move from the introductions on to the topic itself. Starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Black Jurassic himself, Fastcart. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Thank you. I just want to say welcome to episode 6 of Fastcart Drive Paul Crazy. Or is it episode 9? It's between 6 and 9, one of those.
One of those two.
I'm from Star Citizen. We're having our 4th anniversary show tomorrow, and I'm here to promote that. And we're giving away lots of stuff tomorrow, so come check us out. We start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC. And one of the things we're giving away is a Squadron 42 package. So that has been available for a while. So if you want to try to get a Squadron 42 package, come on down. And yes, that is Star Citizen 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Nice. And then we have Mr. Nightcob. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
I am Nightcob. I don't really the things I do these days for Star Citizen. I don't really Twitch stream or do any YouTube content anymore, but I regularly hang out on podcasts talking about Star Citizen. Specifically, once Tree 0311 kind of gets done with a lot of his crazy, awesome personal life stuff, we'll get back to doing armchair admirals and generals and talking our military perspective on all things Star Citizen development, ship design. We've talked a lot about engineering and like damage control principles and stuff like that. And I usually bring my submariner experience to the table on those kinds of topics. I've been in the Navy 17 years, actually a month ago today.
Nice.
And I've been serving on submarines as in the engineering department. Right now I'm the engineering department master chief on Ohio class.
Nice. And Crucian, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
Compared to Nightcob, absolutely nothing. My name is Crucian. As you guys know, I help run Atmo Esports, where we host competitive events inside of Star Citizen. I'm still content creating here and there whenever I can. So I still do that at over at twitch.tv/Crucian Gaming, but overall, just trying to continue to build a competitive, scene within Star Citizen as the game develops. That's my main thing currently. And just like Nightcob, well, I haven't been 17 years, but I did 8.5 years in the Navy. So shout out to Nightcob for 17 years, because that's a lot of dedication.
Appreciate your service too, man.
Yeah. So, just here to have a good time and argue about the Idris and just give out my opinion, and it's gonna be a good time, because always a good time to come to Captain's Table and hang out with you guys. So
yeah, I was actually part of the live Atmo Esports tournament at CitizenCon, so it was really good fun time. So those of you who are into that sort of thing, whenever they do racing or combat stuff, always check out their stuff. It's Stanton 7's coming up soon. Is that what it is? Or System 7?
Yeah, System 7, which is our racing league. We just did the Daymar Rally in January, which is a big endurance racing, and then in August we'll have Fight or Flight, most likely with Master Modes coming up, and then we have a whole brand new concept of event coming in towards November. So yeah, man, always working, always doing something.
Interested. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm interested. And of course, crew is. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I got to say, Paul, before we get started, I just want to issue an apology to you, because at CitizenCon, I played a bad joke. Just before CitizenCon, we were doing a typing table about what to do and what not to do at CitizenCon, and one of the things I said was, don't come up to a content creator and ask for their autograph. Well, lo and behold, we were in the restroom, and I was washing my hands. I saw Paul standing in line for the restroom, and I had this thought in my head. I was like, on one shoulder I had the devil saying, "Yeah, go do it. It'll be funny. Go ahead. It'll be funny." And then I had on my other shoulder another devil saying, "What are you looking at me for? Go ahead and do it." So I took a deep breath and said, "Paul, I'm your greatest fan. Look, can I get an autograph?" And Paul just shook his head and said, "Don't do that, Fastcard. Don't do that." And people all around it chuckled. So I got a laugh. But then I came up to him later and we talked about it. It's like I thought I was the first one to do that. But Paul, what did you say?
There was someone who literally walked up when I was about to. I was like running to use the bathroom between events, and someone says, "Paul, can I get an autograph?" I'm like, "My hands are full."
That's fun.
So I apologize, Paul. I thought I was going to be the only one. That's why I thought it was going to be a funny joke. But I didn't know some people actually done it because we just told people not to do that.
Yeah.
I want an apology, by the way, because I'm Paul's actual #1 fan. I've got the hair dolls and everything.
Oh gosh!
Laughing at that joke.
Last
for a second there.
Last thing I was going to say is Crucian and I are also Ranger buddies because we're waiting for that vehicle to come out. We're part of the Where's the Ranger team, CIG. Please.
I'm part of that team too, actually.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm part of that team too. And the other team.
I mean, I know we still haven't even gotten into the show, but Gravlev Racing has been insanely fun, man. I am stuck to those races, man. So shout out to the team that put that together because that has been a lot of fun. So
I've seen Hayes Nick has been talking about it all the time. He's been like every time I pop on live, he's like, "I'm Gravlev Racing. I can't get off of it, please." So, all right. So with that all being said, the topic of today is the Idris. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the Idris because the CIG's done a big reveal of a bunch of stuff from the Idris. They did a full walkthrough of it with two of the lead chip designers who designed it in the first place. And on top of that, they've done the first real Capture the Idris event in Star Citizen, which happened. So we'll be talking a little bit about the Idris in all sorts of aspects. The first thing I want to talk a little about, though, is generally your first impressions of the Idris. Now that we have a little bit more idea of the internals and what we've seen, your initial goods and bads, like positives and negatives. And I'll start with Crucian on this. What's your initial thoughts when seeing all this stuff with the Idris, the goods and bads?
And that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
honestly, like I didn't get to do it. I didn't get to go in game and experience it, but I've seen a lot of the concerns. I've seen a lot of the people being salty that they don't have the chance or the server's breaking. Like this is the first iteration. I'm happy that they're doing an event to bring more people to the game. And obviously everybody has a different opinion, but I'm glad that they're continuously doing stuff, whether it's Jump Town or whether it's to capture the Idris or the F8 Lightning stuff. I'm just incredibly happy they're doing something for the community to kind of bring in more people, keep that retention, and have people have fun, right? Some people are gonna say like, oh, only people that know how to combat are the only ones that are getting the ship because they're skilled at combat. But I mean, some people have to think about that Invictus is around the corner. Like we're probably gonna have an Idris that we're gonna be able to tour and see and check out, and a lot of people already own it. So, like if for them to do something, at least I'd rather them do something than do nothing at all, to be honest. So,
yeah. Nightcap, initial thoughts on the Idris event, anything like that? The first things we've talked about or that we've seen.
Initial thoughts is I kind of wish they would stop doing events centered around ships and or ship rarity and the ability to like snag those ships. And don't get me wrong, they do some events, although I would argue that they're not nearly as. I want them to find the middle ground because I feel like they're weak on the end of, hey, we're doing skins, we're doing, whether weapon skins where it's just literally you got to log in during the 12 days of Luminalia, or, if they do like the Vandal Mask or whatever during October, it's like they're just sending you on a grind into bunkers and stuff like that, where it's like they don't really know how to pull off the low end events where you could potentially snag a cool skin or a cool piece of gear, that's kind of rare. And then at the upper end of this, it's the balance of, it's a really hard to get super rare ship. So the example being the platinum ticket or this Idris event, and it's like, man, you guys, I really wish they would find some kind of common middle ground. And I totally agree with Crucian. It's like, can we make them not so combat oriented? Like, wouldn't it be cool for like a awesome like Argo raft skin, or not raft, but Argo mole skin? If there's like a mining event or something along those lines.
Okay.
Anything to get some of the other players
Or
involved.
salvaging event.
Combat focused. Yeah, or salvaging event. Anything.
Yep.
Anything.
Fast Cart, same question to you. Initial thoughts on just anything about the Idris?
I didn't do the event, but I saw the ISC episode and I saw a couple of other videos giving tour. And from ISC, it just seemed to have more content, more detail than some planets in other games. Not going to mention the game, but I think people know what I'm talking about. No, the Idris is huge, and it's not for me. It's obviously it's an org chip, but I wonder how many people who bought it thinking they're going to put AI blades and have NPC crewing the Idris or changing their mind right about now. I don't know, but it's too big for me. But I can't wait to see it in games so people enjoy their ship. So I'm happy for them.
Awesome. All right, so I'll start with you with this next question, Fast Cart, which is, what about the ship do you like from what CIG has shown off? Just the ship. Just thinking about the ship, the cool parts about it, or anything that stands out to you.
The hangar, I guess. Yeah, the hangar, you can enter to the rear and exit to the front, and it has the cargo elevator right there in a convenient place. Because it seemed like, this is my speculation, it seemed like because Squad 42 was supposed to be ready, or how do I put it? They were planning on having Squad 42 ready in 2016, or it seemed like it because of the ramp up in 2015. So I'm assuming that the Idris was going to be ready for that for 2016. But it looked like they went back and made changes here and there, because that's what they said in the ISC. And I think overall it seems better now than what it may have been in 2016. But yeah, the hangar is huge. It looked cool. The ship overall looked pretty cool.
Awesome. Nightcop, goods. What stands out as good for you from just the ship itself when you look at it?
I think my favorite thing is they when they go to the cutaway of how they did the interior, and they have utilized every single inch of space available to them. That to me felt utterly familiar and accurate in every way, where it was like no, like every single ounce of space we had to use to accomplish what we wanted for this warship on the interior. So there's not an ounce of space that hasn't been accounted for. There's no dead, there's no empty space in that hull. And that feels right. That feels right to me.
True. Same thing. You good things about you saw when you saw the Idris itself.
Something that if any CIG dev is here, like, and that I can probably still make happen, I would love to hit up my buddies to have them go on a tour of an aircraft carrier, so they can have hopefully a vision of what that stuff is supposed to look like. Because I was stationed in an aircraft carrier for a long time, and when I did my tours, it took like 5 to 6 hours, and obviously they can't go everywhere, but man, it would. Like what Nightcop says, using every inch of space is exactly how that aircraft carrier works. But I think my favorite part of it, because it kind of relates to my time on the flight deck, is that hangar. A lot of people don't. I think back in like 2015 or 2016, they had reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, we're working on this video for the Idris," and this was like when they first put out a video of the Idris, and I think it was for the Squadron 42 trailer, where one of the characters in the game is doing some signage directly from the flight deck to launch the aircraft. And I kind of was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. So to have that hangar, because I probably other ships who have it, the Kraken and stuff like that, but to finally get something in game that you can launch off from that hangar, man, is just the coolest thing ever. It kind of takes me back to like that time on that aircraft carrier. So obviously the rest of the ship is cool. We're already thinking about ways. I wish they can put like an arena commander mode where we're like, do like extract
fighting across it. Yeah.
Dude. It would be so sick, where people have to board and take over and one team has to defend, man. That's the stuff that I'm thinking about right now. and that's a perfect ship to just do that, man. And so yeah, very excited for it. But yeah, Hangar. Obviously, the space. There's a lot more things, but Hangar is my favorite. Just seeing like those some videos of like the Gladius just fly right out of it, man. It's the coolest thing ever. So
I'll say the positive stuff that I saw with it was it feels like a vehicle, like because it's a Squad 42 ship, it feels like a ship that was designed with everything in mind. So if a player is like, I am terrible at FPS, I need to figure out how these guns work, you can go to the armory. If you want to just chill and watch NPCs walk around and be like, hey, I wonder how big the social is. There's the mess. And one of the things when they were doing the kind of the tour and they showed the brig, I'm like, oh, they're going to do a thing where like you do a thing and you capture somebody and they're in the brig. And then like two missions later, you go to the brig, like before a briefing, and they're still there. And you can like taunt them or talk with them. I was like, that's a cool little thing. And so it's, because it's all filled out for Squadron, I feel like it's going to start to like, it's probably when it comes into the game, going to be one of those first real fully fledged ships that we can experience in terms of all of its gameplay potential when it comes out. So, yeah.
Paul, I'm just guessing. I'm guessing there'll be a options or several options that you can choose that would make your player go to the brig.
No, yeah, probably you get into a fist fight in the mess or something. Yeah, get thrown in the brig,
or punch Bishop in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because Chris Roberts is that kind of developer. Just like, oh well, you just die. It's like no, they're going to restrain you and throw you in the brig and enjoy the next an hour-long gameplay session of you stuck in the brig.
They've been working on restraining gameplay. So
yeah.
Get excited, y'all. Get excited. Not that excited. We're not talking about that kind of restraining gameplay.
All right, so
as long as it's consensual, it's fine.
Let's talk a little bit about the negative aspects. Crew, is there anything gameplay wise or based off your experience in the Navy that you would say negative about the about seeing the Idris?
That's a tough question. Not having that much time, but I mean, obviously knowing the ship kind of inside and out now, or a little bit more into detail as they showed it. I think that I think for gameplay purposes, just put it this way, like I feel like the Idris, if not manned well, there's no point. Obviously, you want to have an Idris manned well, but like for those people that own an Idris, if they don't man it well, it's gonna easily be taken. I feel like it doesn't have enough defense points overall to be able to kind of handle itself in battle, other than a big ass railgun. I can easily see, again, if not being manual, people don't know how to use it properly. I can easily see the current people, a lot of pirates just taking over all of those Idrises very easily. So I don't know. That's just me, in my opinion, right now. Obviously, if you have a big Idris and you have a big org, you probably have people defending it. But like for the people that don't have any of that, like they're gonna fly it out of that port and just get stolen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I think it needs some better defense points, in my opinion. But I think that's the only thing that I can really say. Like there's something like the Sea Whiz, right? The Sea Whiz is a defense mechanism for anti-air defense missiles, in an aircraft carrier. Like I would love to see something like that in these bigger ships. Like these things are costing like $1,200. Like they should have some type of anti-air defense system, some type of against missiles. Obviously it has shafts, I get it, I understand, but like I just want to see a little bit more defense. It shouldn't be easy to take an Idris. It shouldn't be easy at all. It should be hard. You should need to put in work just to take an Idris. And
point defense seems kind of light.
Yeah,
correct.
For a frigate, it seems a little light.
For a frigate, it seems a little light on point defense. It kind of surprised me there too.
I got a question for Christian. Well, you say it shouldn't be easy to take an Idris. I want to say, how hard?
It should take a while. For me, like if I'm going, if let's say like everybody's trying to get this Idris, and let's say like I leave port and I have a crew of like let's say 10, right? I feel like if that crew does not know how to have those defense points on that ship, they're gonna get overran super easily, and that ship is just gonna be in somebody else's hands, right? So it all comes down to who's around you, who's defending you, and all that stuff. But I feel like regardless of master modes or anything like that, I think the higher skill people are just gonna easily take it, and it's not gonna be able to defend itself once those people are like, once the ships around the Idris are gone, they should be able to just come in and take it easily, no problem. Obviously, if you're in front of it, that's kind of stupid because that was a big ass roll gun. But yeah, I think just the defend points, I think it should be a lot better. I think it should be able to defend itself a lot more than what it currently has. That's just my opinion. So, but it's all on a case by case basis, right? I can't say like how hard it should be, but it should take a while for you to just take over an Idris. Obviously, shields should be stronger. You know, trying to get on board, it should be a lot harder. You know, but again, it just comes down to like those, you know, those different defend points. Like if all you have is 2 gladiuses on there, and let's say, you know, a few people around you, I just feel like they could just easily get swarm and they're, you know, it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, just get a mantis in there, get those, you know, get that stuff down, take it down. Like I just feel like it should be a lot tougher to take an interest from anybody.
Yeah. I love that response because Fastcart was just trying to make a joke about trying to make a penis joke. Because I know Fastcart, he said how hard.
I was trolling so hard. I was trolling so hard.
Well, you know, I'll be honest with you, I was going to answer it. I was going to steal it. I was going to be like, well, listen, I don't want it to be hard enough that it takes 4 hours. Like, let's go with 2 hours to take down the Idris.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
It's
funny, 2 hours is a respectable amount of time to get whatever you need to do done.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours. 4 hours, and I feel like, you know, you're going to get tired of that real quickly, and that gameplay is going to, you know, get uncomfortable. And you're going to want to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. You guys are killing me, man.
I knew exactly what he was doing,
just
but
talking about spaceships.
I have done the same thing. Fastcard has said something, and I went super serious, and I realized afterwards, like, oh, Fastcard just made a penis joke. That's what he was trying to do at that point. So
we're not even talking about the whole V too. Like,
my face.
And the funny thing is, like, I know Fastcard, I just don't know him that well enough. Now I know. Now I know Fastcard.
Oh, yeah. Nightcop, same question with you. What are kind of the negatives you could see with the Idris, like in your observations in terms of gameplay, or maybe even in your own experience? What are some things that like don't seem right?
I'm gonna get spicy.
Okay,
I'm gonna get spicy. The Idris itself, like its design, its layout, I've got no real gripes. Somebody brought up the whole, you know, they've got cables running across the floor, and that's, you know, that would be a damage control thing that would irk the shit out of me on, you know, real boat. But I mean, it's a video game. As long as I don't actually trip on that stuff in game, you know, like you do on stairs, I don't care. But this is the spicy take. I really think we've got too many people with Idrises.
Okay.
Like these size ships, I feel like should be like org ships. And I feel like you know, they ran a sale at the same time of the event, and it's like, you know, and they keep doing this, you know, year
I wonder
by year
how many
with,
Idrises are out or sold.
I wondered that too, but I feel like if we've exceeded 100, it's way too freaking many already.
Oh, it's way more than 100.
I think it's more than that.
See, that's what I think too. That's what I think too.
I think it's like the tens of thousands. I'm not even kidding.
I don't know about tens of thousands. It might be 1,000. I don't know about 10, but yeah, 5,000 maybe.
I think these things should be rare. Like when you see an Idris, it should be rare and it should be fully crewed because it's a big deal to pull it out in game. And I'm sorry, talking about Idris, talking about the Idris. That's what we're talking about, pulling out in game, guys. Just to be clear, all right? But yeah, and it should be a rare sight, and it should be an awe-inspiring sight, and it should make people like kind of stand up and take note and be like, "Oh crap, man! Somebody brought an Idris to the party." And it should be, you know, one of two things where it's like it amps everybody's blood pressure because the fight just got real serious, or, you know, it's one of those things like you're lucky enough to be pulling into a station for, a simple repair, and an Idris is there, and it's like, whoa, hey man, you're typing in global, would love to tour the ship. You giving tours today and stuff like that? Because I'm sure Crucian will back me up too. You pull into some ports and an aircraft carrier, if it's not an actual, it's a foreign port, man, people will be coming. They'll be like, ooh, can we tour that thing? That's how often are you going to get a chance like that? And I would love for that to be the case for a ship like that. But it feels like one day, maybe, there's just going to be a bunch of solo pilot Captain Idris running around.
I mean, a
And
lot
we're
of hanger
just,
queens with the Idris
yeah,
and the
yeah,
queen.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like we're stealing a little bit of the specialness from ships like that. There you go. There's my main gameplay negative.
Negative. Okay. Fast Cart. Any negatives
Yeah.
yourself with the Idris?
I just want to point out that Bastion in chat said that their org had 20 Idris alone.
Oof.
So that's in one org. and multiply that by so many orgs that, yeah, you can get a picture. But some of the others already touched on it. I don't really have a negative, but I feel sad for people who bought an Idris and they don't have it in their hands yet. As a BMM, Endeavor, and Ranger owner, I feel the pain. So that's my negative for when it comes to Idris.
I'm going to be very similar to Night Cobb in this one, in that I think that there are probably too many people who own Idrises. I will say the main negative I have with the Idris is more that when you look at it, it's fantastic, but I'm a little concerned about, and this is going to sound weird, its gameplay potential. Because it's so big and has all of these turrets. But as Christian pointed out, like, there's no way of defending it. Like there's no point defense turrets. So it's all just manned turrets. And it feels like a big floating target. Like, how are you going to have fun on an Idris? Like, it's 6 to 12 people on an Idris, maybe up to like 20 or 30 people. But what are they all going to do? Like, it's nice that for Squad 42, you have an ATC who's up there tell you the launch command and stuff like that. But what is that role going to do in Star Citizen? Like, what's their point? Like, how are they going to function? Is it just somebody pushing a button to let you in, to land in the hangar? It's like, I push button. That's my job. I push button all day long. Like,
you bring up a real good point too. Like, what's the intent for players to use that style of frigate?
Yeah.
And I can only think of one thing. You're either involved in like major org battles, or God willing, you've got some serious events around like the Van Duel at some point in time in the near future where it's, your CDF contracted out to defend, an area of space until the fleet gets on station, as the Van Duel are attacking. But that should be like a rare and, not often used opportunity. And meanwhile, like you said, there's an org with 20 of them in there, and it's like, I don't see those things coming out very often because it's just not the right tool for the job. They have not built, and it's not even that they haven't built gameplay for it. There won't be much gameplay for that, until you're doing like high level events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're right. What are people going to do on that thing? Even just what are people going to use it for 90% of the time?
Yeah, it's more of a question of like where will it sit in the gameplay? Because you want somebody you want the ship that someone spent, my entire paycheck a month for for a
Wow.
Bro, we need to get you a new job. If that's your paycheck a month.
I'm a teacher, man. It is rough.
Paid, man. You're paid for what you're doing there, buddy.
But like a significant amount of money. What is what gameplay does it bring? Like, what are they actually being able to do? And I know something like master modes and stuff that's like this to be addressed, but that's such it's a question. And so whenever I hear somebody be like, "Well, why don't they release the Idris?" And my response is, "What are you gonna do with an Idris?" Right now it's you get the fly around and shoot the big railgun, but in probably before the end of the year, when they add more kind of multi-crew aspects, you're going to have somebody flying it. You're going to be something firing the railgun. You're going to have something using the other guns. But like, is that engaging? Is that in like practice? And I know someone in chat was like, some people just want to move boxes. It's like, yeah, but moving boxes is like, you're always moving boxes. You're always doing something. But like, in a narrative or in reality, an ATC's job is to track all of the local traffic, make sure that people coming and going are not running into each other as they're trying to land, and keeping communicating with the various pilots in the area. But you probably got 2 to 3 fighters on the Idris, so you got maybe 3 people you're going to be talking with, and you're staring at a console. So unless that person's also like a radar operator or some other sort of sensor suites, their job's mostly just going to be, I open the hangar so you can land, and I close it so that nobody else can come in. Like,
Yeah, it's not exactly the most exciting air traffic controller position you could possibly ask for. It's
yeah,
not really high
I mean-
traffic, you know.
I mean, to answer your question, Paul, I mean, what are they going to do with the Idris in their hands? The same thing they did with the Starfare when it first came out. The same thing they did with the Reclaimer when it first came out. You know, people spend, I don't know how long most people have been looking at shit when they first get it, but, you know, people will be happy just to have their ship in their hangar and put it into a game. So I don't think we can discount that.
okay. But with that all said, let's go on to like talk a little bit more in depth about the Idris mission, because we kind of all talked a little bit about the goods and bads of it. Let's talk about what the Idris mission did well first. So, Fastcart, based off your observations, even if you hadn't had a chance to, what do you think were the good parts of that Idris mission that CIG had done for those? For those of you who don't, and before those of you who don't know, the Idris mission was a mission where CIG devs would spawn an Idris and a mission would spawn up, and the goal of the players was to attack the Idris, disable it, board it, and then control it, and for a kind of like a contest, the player that was able to sit in the Idris pilot seat for longest would win a prize, would win an Idris M, I believe. So, and some of the Idrises were crewed entirely by the devs, and some of them were spawned by CIG staff, but they were crewed by NPCs. So, Fastcart, what were the goods of that you saw?
That I saw people who actually had a chance to get on board and participate in the event. They had fun.
Okay.
On the spectrum, there was a whole lot of hullabaloo about this being a streamer event, but there are several dev responses saying no, it's not a streamer event. It's just that people who aren't streamers that actually participated in the event, you didn't hear about them because they're not streamers. So a whole bunch of people did participate, but you only heard about streamers because that's their content. So, but I mean, as far as I can tell, people that had fun. There was a couple of glitches that I heard about, but overall, people seem to enjoy it when they can get on board.
Yeah, Nightcop, your what were the positives you can say about the event?
I think it showed off, what something like a capital ship boarding could be like in a positive. I caught Salty Mike's first day of streaming it, and he got super lucky, and he had probably what I would argue is the ideal version of the event go for him, where it was him and a bunch of his party, and they boarded the ship. It was an epic boarding event, and then they spent hours defending it. So you got to see it kind of from both sides, what an epic boarding like that could look like on the front end of being the boarders, and then on the back end of being the team that is struggling to hold the ship, from hostile forces and stuff. And I think that looked epic, and every minute of that was exciting and engaging, and it was solid gameplay, and it was probably one of maybe 5 events that worked that way. And that's probably the big downside, for most people. But I think that's the true highlight of it, is that they highlighted that boarding actions and defending against boarding actions could be a really, really big fun aspect of the game, when this is a more common of an event, even just at the dynamic player level.
Crew, positives about this mission.
I think I gotta agree with Night Cobb. I think the gameplay it brought overall. I did watch that stream as well. While I was jotting at work in the morning. I think that seeing all of the videos that went online and seeing people have a good time. I think that just honestly, man, like it's kind of like what we do at Atmo. And sorry to bring that up or compare it, is like people just want some type of gameplay, right? And when we're doing these competitive events, not only are they practicing, but we are providing some type of gameplay, whether it's the ground racing or whether it's something new that, I mean, obviously they can already do it in game on their own, but what are they working towards to, right? If they're racing and we have no events, they're not working towards anything. So that's why, like, I think the positives of that event is because people were working towards something, and that's what made it fun. And people defending it and holding it for that long and trying to, not get taken down, man. Like that's the type of gameplay that we kind of want. Obviously, now with servers crashing every time, that mission would pop up, but I think that that's a positive for me. Just gameplay for people to see the potential of the game. I think that's a win for everybody.
I will say my positive of the whole thing is that CIG usually does stuff like this as a preview.
Yep.
Like they'll do this sort of thing, and then eventually it becomes an actual mission. It's like they learn from it, and then they kind of go, all right, let's turn this into something actual in reality that we can turn this that other players can do, or we can spawn this regularly or whatever. Feels very much like a first draft of the final version. So while it may not be fun for everyone initially, I think this is a good sign of where CIG wants to go. And because the people who participated in it, who were able to get it, all said it was really, really fun and it was very engaging and dramatic. That's stuff that we don't really have a lot in Star Citizen. Yep. Like, I think the last time I had that sort of feeling, outside of PvP, was the Xenothreat, when the first Xenothreat missions dropped. Because that was like, felt stressful and that sort of things. And you want to feel stressed in a video game because you want to feel like there's a chance you could fail, and that adrenaline gets you going.
Is so freaking popular right now.
Yeah, because it's
one of the strong reasons.
It's challenging, and you feel like you accomplished something. So
I mean, Siege
I'm
of
too old to get
Orison.
stressed in my life.
Siege of Orison was a good event for me because it's like I had a battle with other people trying to like finish the mission, and they were shooting at us, and we weren't taking that crap, man. We were shooting back. So like another example was Siege of Orison. Like even though that final part was like bugged or whatever, like I had a blast during that event because that was mostly FPS. So I feel like they're just slowly like trying to do some different events, and like Siege was mainly FPS, and now you have the Idris event. I think we'll just have Jump Town, everybody trying to get drugs, coolest thing ever. Obviously, can't do drugs in life, we do it in games. So but like, so I'm just glad again there's just some gameplay. I think we'll have continued dynamic stuff, and they'll continue changing it up as the game goes on.
So the next thing, this is more critique. Let's say the negatives, but in a more of a constructive criticism sort of way. Like what did they not?
The good news or the bad news in a good way.
Yes,
bad news in a good way.
Yeah. So like what did they mess up on? But what could they like how could they improve upon it? So I'll start with you on crew on this one. Of that mission, what was not good, but you think they could improve it? How could you think they can improve it?
I think that, man, this one's so hard because I'm kind of going to talk about the players that really didn't have the chance to kind of experience it. Like if they do an event like this, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I think they need to provide more opportunities for people that are in the game trying to look for it. Because if they just did dev only, then obviously most of the devs are in the UK. Like what happens to people that are, trying to play at night, right? While the devs are sleeping. I know that there's some, it just being controlled by AI. I'm not sure if they put out a schedule normally like they do the events. They just said, hey, there's a mission out there. But I feel like if they do something, they need to find a way to, and that's not for me to judge, but they need to find a way to allow everybody the same opportunity to grab on that Idris. Now, if people are just complaining bitching and moaning about, oh, it's combat related or is this or is that, and you don't want to go do it because of that, that's on you, right?
Mhm.
Go enjoy what the game has to offer, and if it's offering that event at that moment, obviously people are going to disagree with me. Go try and do it. Don't just sit around and say I'm not going to do it because I'm not combat oriented. I don't know. Go ram into it. Go jump into the hangar. Go EVA on your own. Nobody's going to see you. EVA, do something. Have fun. Try to do something that just try, man. Don't that's the only thing with me. Is like, instead of complaining about that it's only combat related, which I do get, trust me, at least go try. Go find some friends. That's what an MMO is about. Go find some people to play with. Jump on somebody's stream, because it's people like Salty Mike. I sometimes they have their own group, but a lot of people say, hey, come join me. Come join me. Go find the community. Go be a part of it, and go join these events that are happening. So that's what I got.
Friends. What are those?
I was gonna say something, but I'll just chill. I'll just chill.
Nightcub, same question. Like, what did they fall down on, but how could they improve it?
I'm going to give you CIG, if you're listening, I'm going to give you what you should have done, I think. All right. You have an Idris event already in game, and it requires rep to get to it, and not too much of a grind. You had the Arlington contract.
I like that.
I wish you had I think you could have waited, but I think you could still do it now. You guys should have done this where it was one of those things like, hey, give the Idris M to the Arlington gang, but change the last mission. And instead of it being you just kill the Arlington gang members that have taken the Idris by any means possible, which is really just prior to this event, the destruction of the ship, what if you had to maintain the asset intact? And you had to board it and kill them while in the ship. And if you did that, you got mission completion. And then you still could have done, hey, best 10-minute YouTube video, or, content creation around it, or, footage around that style of event, wins you the Idris, and you still could have done your sale, but it would have been something that every player could have gotten friends together, people that already had, rep with Miles Eckhart, and all that kind of stuff. Or if you just had a group of friends who were like, hey, help me burn through the Miles Eckhart contracts. We'll do the Idris event together. We'll disable it. We'll board it. Because that will take a team. Like, I can't even imagine trying to do that solo. Well, I can, but still, it would be better, with a team and stuff like that. And that would have just been a lot of fun for a lot of people. And it would have not been gate locked based on, when CIG is online, what time zone you're in, whether the servers can support, because typically a server can at least support the Arlington Idris mission. And that's not something you're worried about taxing it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's how I think it should have been done.
That's a great point. Great point.
So.
I would you could also add it to that, it's a simple fix that changes. Like, we don't know how they got that Idris M, but that's a military Idris M. They got from somewhere, so we want you to return it so we can investigate how they got it.
Exactly.
It's simple. We need it back intact because we need to be able to investigate. That's just a simple add-on to the storyline that makes sense. It's like you're a contractor, but how did they get a military asset at a dry dock? We need it, or out of mothballs. Where did they get this thing? So boom.
But to steal a line from Aliens, it's got a substantial dollar value attached to it. I'm sure the military wants it back.
I got to applaud you for that one. That's a good pull. I like that one.
Fast card. What did they do wrong, but how could they improve upon that?
As far as I know, like you said before, I didn't participate, but from what I'm understanding, I wish there was a way that they can make it so there's an in-game announcement for the event when it's not on your server or something like that. Some kind of notification that comes up and say, okay, the Idris is up, but not here. Like, they could literally say the princess is in another castle for all I care. But, cause there are plenty of people who were waiting for the event to pop up, and, Mo Farley said that he knew someone that waited 40 hours, and people waited the whole weekend or 4 days and never got to participate because it never popped up. So maybe some kind of notification saying the Idris is up, but not here. So go look elsewhere. And also, I think the rules adjustment after the event started, kind of rub people the wrong way because yes, obviously people are going to try to steal the Idris
yeah.
and make it so that other people can get to it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's an exploit, but that wasn't in the rules when it first started. So that's the I don't know if it could have been like foreseen that people would do that. I don't know. It seems simple to me, but maybe not to CIG because they had a nail tunnel vision of what players would do with it.
Yeah,
They have to know that we're going to take an event like that and break it in every way possible.
Right.
If they're not thinking that anymore, like I don't know, if they've been watching us at all, because we've taken every opportunity to break and find the cracks in their game every time they've given us a chance.
And that's a good thing. That's
Every
what
single freaking time.
Alpha is for.
Yeah, it is. It is just, but it's one of those things. Like you run an event like this, you had to know, like, and that's kind of one of those things. Is like, there's a meme running around the internet about like CIGs. You wonder if they had that, like, oh, we'll do this really cool thing. It sounds really awesome when we lay it all out, and then what really happens is grossly beyond whatever their expectations were going to be, and not in a positive light.
But I mean, like, you could think also of things like one of the things people did was just, they took it into an armistice zone. Like, you didn't think that people would just take it into an armistice zone so they can't get shot at? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing I would have done too. If I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
and not only that, but with good intentions in a lot of cases. Like some people are taking an armistice zone, like, do you want to look at it?
Yeah.
We will hold it here, and you guys can tour it. We don't really care about winning the Idris. This is the community. And then people would, take their ships and try and ram it and stuff like that. And that's when you're just like, man,
this is why
we should try getting together on. Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. You're right.
Yeah,
one point that Nightcop made in talking about their Arlington mission, and one example that I'm going to use of playing World of Warcraft for so many years, like when we played Vanilla and they did the opening of the AQ gates, one of the best events in any MMO, and to build up to that moment, like he said, with their Arlington mission, it just, man, when I was like, why did I think of that? But like, it just makes so much sense to, like, if you want to unlock some big event in the game that everybody can enjoy, make it challenging, make it to where people gotta grind it out with a team and earn it. Cause man, that like literally that AQ mission, once you open the gates of Ankh-Raj, you're literally there for like 18 hours fighting these big pharaohs and trying to get gear and trying to get all this salute, man. I think it would be cool to kind of see that same type of vibe and have people actually go in the game and work for it in that manner. So that was a very, very great point, and I just wanted to kind of emphasize on that a little bit.
Yeah.
May I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
So the event was primarily advertised as being a developer well, not a developer, but developers was going to be on the ship and you take it from the developers, but later on they added FPSAI. Why couldn't they, well, I don't know, maybe there was a reason, but I'm wondering why they couldn't add FPS Idrises, AI Idrises on more servers and whatnot.
I think it was manually spawned. I think that was the issue, is that it wasn't, like, they didn't have a way of triggering it that wasn't manual. So like the CIG had to be on the server and trigger it manually from the server rather than it being from like some sort of pool list. And I do wonder if that's because they're trying to swap over the missions to a new logic or to some sort of other backend, because they're swapping the Mobiglass, because the Mobiglass mission manager is changing over to a new mission manager with 3.23. So it was one of those that maybe they were like, well, you don't want to like code a bunch of stuff for this mission to be on this version of the game when it's gonna, like, we're a couple months away and we'll have to completely recode it if we wanted to do it in the future. So, but
was it just one Idris at a time on one specific server, or because if that's the case, I was saying they could have spawned a couple of Idris or maybe 3 Idrises on different servers at the same time.
Maybe you could have, but I think there's also CIG is probably concerned about the servers imploding. with like 3 Idrises might break it. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I think like Nightcop said what I would have said in terms of like the negative. I think the other thing could have said is making it more regular, putting it as a schedule. But also the big thing that differentiates this from the F8, because a lot of people compare this to the F8 sort of event that they did, was that at least with the F8 you had the gold ticket. And for those of you who don't know, the gold ticket, even if you didn't buy it, if you turned it in, you would get, I think, 24-hour rental of the F8.
Rental.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, because this was couched as a war game in universe, you could have easily said, like, hey, add something similar to the golden ticket, like just have something where you go collect some aspect, and if you turn it in, you could go to that hangar with a Idris there, and you could tour the Idris around. You could walk around the Idris to see it, because I think a lot of people just wanted to see the interior. You know, people who own the ship were just like, I want to do it. So just part of the event, like, here's a little token. You go use a token, and now you can go get access to, you know, said event. So
Yes, I agree, because seeing it in the video is cool and all, but actually experiencing it in the engine in game is a whole nother level.
Yeah. So
can we go? I want to bring up one thing real quick, because I was thinking about it as we were talking. You know, one of the things that I think they wanted out of this, similar to the platinum ticket event for the F8, is CIG is kind of getting involved in this. We want to play with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, it seems like they want to play competitively against us, and they want to. I feel like it's hey, we want to, you know, it's from a good place of we want to bring the community together, and we want to get out there with you guys and do some stuff. But my recommendation to them would be, what you're creating, unfortunately, is you're creating people that are server hopping, looking for CIG tags on your handles. And the better way to probably do that is to create something where you are not the necessary component, but you are an interesting add-on, knock-on effect. Whereas, like, when you show up, it's more special, but it's not something that I need you to be able to have the event. So
Yeah.
I'm not like server hopping. So it shouldn't be dependent on you. If you do stuff that you're involved in, you'll make some really special content that way. You know, when somebody's streaming and they're like, oh snap, you know, Elliot Maltzby, you know, is on this freaking Idris. I'm going to use that example, although it's poor, but you know, something like that. If they're involved in an event, you know, I want them to do those things, but I also don't want them to make them the singular aspect by which we're chasing it, because that's what people were doing.
Yeah. I was going to add on to kind of tie this into Atmos Esports as well. Wasn't there a dev team, like a team of devs who were in the Daymar rally? So,
yes,
you know, which is interesting. It's just cool.
And they finished, and they play by the rules. They don't teleport, you know, to the finish line.
I do wonder if they trained like everybody else does, because for those of you who've never been to the Daymar Rally, it requires training, and I'm glad that they did that, because it's like, now that they have practiced and they've completed it, they probably gives them feedback as to like how bad land navigation is in Star Citizen right now for those sorts of longer runs.
One of the more popular complaints about this game is people already constantly ask, do CIG developers actually play the game? And now we know, yes, they do.
Yes,
Not
they do.
all of them, but, you know, a few of them at least.
Let me mention something real quick, because I just went to the Manchester office, right? I was there. I went to the Barcelona Bar Citizen, and it was a great time. The vibe. And I'm not going to talk about like what's inside any of that. I don't want to spoil it if people ever go. But the vibe of the work ethic that's in that office, you can feel it the second you walk in. And people don't look like they hate themselves or hate their job. I think every person has a thing to do there. And I believe a lot of people, you know, are passionate about the game, and they do play it, right? When they had the team from the Daymar Rally, they actually put together like an entire setup at the office, and that's where they race from. And, you know, from there, not only are they having a good time from community events that are happening, but they're also, you know, getting feedback about, we destroyed the servers, man. I'm telling you right now, we're supposed to launch 10 servers with 110 people each. Destroyed every single server. But there's people in the background getting that data and helping us launch servers, man. It was crazy, but like they really, really liked the game, man, and the vibe just kind of visiting that office was very well. It's like an environment that I would love to like be a part of and work on. Maybe I say that because I'm on this end, but a lot of them are just as passionate about the game as I am, or you, Paul, or you, Fastcourt, or you, Night Cobb, as anybody else. So
Well, to hammer that home, I don't know how many CIG devs are watching this, but I know that they watch these. They watch the Captain's Table. They watch all of the other kind of content. They might be watching us live, which is why I always have to be careful, because I'll say something snarky and stupid, and then like 2 patches later, CIG does it, and I'm like, no, that was a joke, not a suggestion. CIG.
Yeah, CIG, give Paul another redeemer.
No.
Do it.
No. I always blame Fastcard for it, but it was Fair Assault.
Than me.
Yeah, it was Darjan, you. I think you both, like, I think the 3 of you decided,
both of us.
like all of you decided to pile drive that. It's like, it would be funny if CIG gave Paul a redeemer, because he hates that ship, and so they gave me that unmeltable, unupgradable, ungiftable redeemer, and to add the extra insult to it, it's a game package, and it has LTI.
Paul,
and it's
one
like,
of these days, you're gonna have to show us on the doll where the redeemer touched you.
Right? Everywhere.
Because people
It
use
hurts
hate,
me.
and I'm always like, hate is really, you can't hate something that you didn't at one time love.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what happened when you first fell in love with the Redeemer, and then something really went wrong.
It's
and
not.
Now there's nothing but unbridled hate. But
I will say that I hate it in the way because it's wasted potential. That's why I hate it. I hate it because I look at it and I said, you could be so much better. You could be unique,
there you go, guys,
and interesting and different, but you're
there you
stupid.
Go.
You have no purpose in lore, and you break everything. And you are a representative of everything I hate about this game. And so, yeah.
He wants to love it, guys.
Another redeemer.
I want it to be cool. I want the vector lock engines to be
it.
50% effective in atmosphere. I want the ship to be able to repel special forces out the side of it like a fucking video game. I want those guns to be absolutely ridiculous, but it's ugly, it doesn't make sense, and its lore is literally contradictory. So, I don't know. There are ships that have no lore in Star Citizen. It has contradictory lore. I think it's the only one that does, and I'm just like, how worse could you be?
I'm gonna steal another quote from a movie, guys. You have to hit him pretty close to the mark to get him this riled up, don't you?
Let me just talk to chat real quick. He said this is going to be a quick episode, but then he remembered I was on the show. So,
yeah. I'll say for the negatives. I think we just said the negatives and positives, but with the whole add an additional thing. I think overall the event was good for it, but I don't think it was as good as it could have been, nor do I think it was as engaging as it could have been. People were talking about the F8 event for months after it happened.
Still talking about it.
You're still talking about it. People will forget the Idris event happened in 2 weeks. It really didn't have the kind of staying power. And what really kind of sucks was that CIG even said we looked at what happened with the F8, and we tried to figure out what take the critique and try to fix it. And I think they were we think we fixed it. I'm like, I don't think you did. I think you may have learned the long lessons, or there was some other kind of misunderstanding here and there. But my hope is that after this has happened, it's okay, now we can readjust to kind of make it in the better, So. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for our discussions on the Idris. I'll do one quick rapid fire ending thing, because it's the thumbnail of the video. Based off of everything we've seen and talked about, the Idris ship, the Aegis Idris frigate, is it a good ship? Fastcart, do you think it's a good ship?
Sure. It's not what I want or have in my hangar, but sure. I think it's a great ship. I mean, for people who are in Org, who have enough people to fly the Kura, or people who are not in Org, but having enough friends to fly the Kura, I think it's a great ship. So, yeah.
Nightcub.
I love it. I like the Aegis. I like the Aegis branding. I like the idea of an ancient military contractor that did some questionable things at some point in time, and may have backed the wrong guy. But hey, you found yourself in the end, and it's a Cinderella story, really.
So
Nightcub's
what Nightcub's saying is that the Mezzers did nothing wrong. Is that what we're saying?
Hey, they made some mistakes. You know?
What you're saying is
Made
like
some
it's a story
mistakes.
of redemption, almost like a redeemer.
Yeah. It's like the Kylo Ren of Star Citizen. You know,
Oh my God.
you did some stuff. You did some stuff that kind of makes you cringe, and maybe you said some stuff. You know, maybe you became a meme at the same time, and then in the end, though, I mean, you ultimately came around to the good side just in time to be destroyed by your competition. It feels actually.
It's an apt analogy. Yeah.
Exactly, right. You know, the more I started talking about it, the more I realized it's like, man, this is pretty accurate now that I think about it. Good luck, Anvil. I'm not voting for you, but you know.
Wait, let's see your mug again. What logo's on your mug?
Yeah.
Favoritism.
Yeah.
Where's
you know why I have an Aegis mug though? It's not for the Idris. It's for the Eclipse.
okay?
Okay.
It's my favorite. It's for the Eclipse. With a
Um,
size 9 torpedo on it. I'm like, yeah, that's my girl right there.
where's my Castac Arms mug, CIG? I want my freedom mug. My
You can make one.
I could, but I want to
by the
buy
way,
one.
I have a feeling if any CIG devs are watching, they're going to be really upset about how I have an Aegis Dynamics mug that did not come from their store. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't know where I got it, guys. It showed
hold
up
on,
in my
hold on.
house somehow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here we go.
I had no.
CIG's dev store, right? Totally.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
totally
Yeah.
isn't a
Oh yeah.
fan-made
Different
Look,
with it,
somebody-
right?
thing.
Yeah,
with
somebody
it.
gave it to me, and I had nothing to do but assume that it was a licensed product off your website. So please don't get upset. I don't sell them. I just have one.
All right, crew. Is it a good ship or not?
Man, what a question.
Just
It's not
blunt.
like it didn't have a couple of minutes to think about the question before you got to you. or anything.
I know, right? Rapid fire. I think it's a good ship for the gameplay it can create, but I think it could be better from a defense standpoint. Other than that, I think people are buying it, people like it, so sure, good ship. I'll just keep it simple.
Okay. I think it's good for what it's designed to do, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it when it comes out. With the caveat that I think there are some people who think it's going to be better than it is actually going to be, because a lot of people are going to be like, I'm just going to be able to do it myself. But it's like, there's going to be a lot of, it's designed for you to have friends and do things. So I see it as I see it as the raid ship, the event ship. It's like, Xeno threats attacking, Stanton system with their full fleet. It's like time to pull out the big guns, and you see players rock up with like 15 Idrises and fighting off multiple waves of Idrises and other things coming in. That's this kind of stuff. That sort of is the end game, the vision, and I think the Idris plays a part in that sort of vision of the kind of end game of Star Citizen. So.
Can't wait for the Javelin event.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Capture the Javelin.
And I'm waiting for the Bagel Carrier event, or maybe
Ooh.
no, the BMM event. Please, CIG. Please.
Why do you bring that up, Fastguard? I don't know why you'd bring that up.
In 10 years we're gonna have the Endeavor event. How about that?
There we go.
The Endeavor is a myth, guys. I want you to understand.
It is a legend. It is a legend. We praise the Endeavor. I am a member, card-carrying member of the Cult of the Endeavor, so it's okay.
Me too.
Guys, it's like the Ark of the Covenant, all right? It's just not coming. I'm sorry.
It's the
story we tell children.
It's the Book of Revelations. Like when you see CIGs working on the Endeavor, the end is nigh.
Oh my God!
It is one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. So, with that all said, thank you to crew. Thank you, crew. Thank you, Nightcop. Thank you, Fastguard, for coming in and talking. We're going to take about 5 minutes break to use the restroom, grab something to drink and such, and then we'll be taking questions from you, the audience, who are watching live. And if you're listening to this in podcast format, I do want to remind you to to rate it and subscribe on us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. yeah, like the video, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropubLive. Both places you can catch us live. And yeah, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Just pipe his brain. I like that.
I'm surprised you didn't see my expression on my face.
Well, you all missed a wonderful conversation. We've learned all the secrets of CIG. Tyler was on. He hopped in, told us all this thing that's going to happen. We know the release date of Squadron 42 now.
Tony Z came by.
Yeah.
Z came by. You guys,
Yeah.
hey, listen. You missed out.
You missed out.
I got to touch Brian Chambers' hair.
Yeah, all in the span of about like the 5-6 minutes we've been gone. So
I stole a few strands of Paul's hair for the next call. It was great.
All right, so this is the question and answer session where people ask questions from the chat. I have a little kind of on Twitch chat. I have a little like redemption thing you can do for the pub coin, the little Twitch point stuff. And it's just costs one. It says Captain's Table question. You click it, you ask your question, and we'll answer it most of the time within reason. But Fastcard indicated that they want to ask a question before everybody else does. So Fastcard, ask your appropriate question.
Yeah, so did the Idris get bigger? What was the original length? Because I looked on the spectrum matrix thing. It said the Idris M is 233 meters, and the Idris P is 242 meters. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the Idris K is, but have either of those been increased or have they stayed the same?
They've stayed the same since the revamp. But
I got a question real quick. Can you define for me what the unit of measurement you go by when you say 233 members is? What unit of measurement, like what would that be equivalent to? I need a conversion.
He's talking about members' jackets. You know, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, members'
obviously.
jackets.
The members' jackets.
I'm sorry.
You answered the question.
I'll be honest with you. I lost the meat of the question.
At least
no
12.
pun intended.
At least 12. At least 12.
Once you said 233 members long, and I was like, I need a scale for that. 4 inches? What are we talking about? 6 inches? What's a standard member and unit of length in my awful imperial
It wasn't me this time.
system?
It wasn't me.
Damn, man.
Look, man, Fastcard came on the show and was like, I'm going to demonetize Paul. And I was like, bet. Let's see how that goes. Competition at last. Let's do this.
Finally, a worthy opponent.
Yeah, I kept it safe. I said between 6 and 9. There's an A, there's an N
6
in
and
between,
9.
so we should be
Holy
good.
shit, man. I want to live in your world. Can I live in your world?
So
Can we all live in that world?
He's gonna have to trim the whole video to monetize it.
oh my
6
god.
and 9. 6
No,
and
but
9.
I apologize, Spotify. I apologize.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, it did get bigger, or do you know how many members or meters it got bigger by?
Yeah,
You
how
did
many
it on
members
purpose.
did
You
it
did it
get
on
bigger by?
purpose. We actually, I don't think it's increased since its original refit. The reason why the difference between the M and the P is different is because they take the railgun off. So they count the railgun as part of the length, and it's just extends past the bow.
Okay.
So, and then the K is just an upgrade kit. You just attach the beam cannon to where the railgun was originally supposed to be. So, you're looking at me kind of side eyes as if this is an additional joke.
Like,
Well,
He's
no.
waiting for the joke. I'm waiting for the joke.
You know what? I'm just gonna retract and move on. I
Yeah.
don't want retract. Man, those words are hard.
But I
Shit, I
just
can't get out of the puns.
I just did a freaking lore dive on this for a video I'm doing. So the answer is it used to be around 100 meters. It's about the same. It was between 100 and 150. It was around the same size as the Polaris is now, because originally it was Corvette, and then CIG, because apparently everything's bigger in Manchester, they decided that, hey, we need to increase this. So it went from 100 to 150 meters to twice that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my serious question to turn to a fast car question. So, yeah.
every member, I mean, meter matters. Okay, so
Yeah. All right. So the first question comes from Northern Trooper, who asked, If you had to choose a real life deployment in a Star Citizen military ship, what would it be and why? I could start with this one.
I have an answer, but go ahead.
None of them. They're all death traps. I'm never going to go into touch any of those things. You could phase through the walls of the Idris. Like, if you phase through the walls of a super carrier today, the Navy would be just a ghost. There would be no one who signs up for the Navy. I could just fall through the side of a Navy vessel into the deep sea. That sounds like that is straight up Lovecraftian shit right here. No.
It's funny. It's funny because it's not true. If I told you about accidents, and I'm sure Christian's got a few stories, if I told you about accidents that have happened on board warships, you'd be like, oh, no, I mean, we still have people.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just all a little bit on the crazy side.
So what Night Cubs is confirming is top secret military information. You don't even have to go to War Thunder's page anymore. That modern naval subs, you can just phase through matter and the side of a sub into the deep sea. That explains a lot. Yeah.
No, I
think I might get in trouble.
I love Paul's answer.
I think I might get in trouble, even if that's not true, or sorry, even if that were to be true. Let me rephrase. Now,
40 slip there. 40 slip.
Like somebody's gonna clip that. And I don't know.
Hey, now that you say it, somebody will. Oh, hold on, I can do it myself.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I wish I thought of Paul's answer. No ship is the best response, but I mean, given what the question is asking, I would say the retribution.
Oh, yeah.
That's either going to be the safest ship in the fleet or the most dangerous ship in the fleet. One or the other. And there's a toss up between which one. And if people don't know, retribution is the biggest ship in the UEE.
To answer this seriously, what I'll say is probably the Polaris, because it's the latest ship, and you know that the latest to make like technology is always like the latest ships are always going to have the most like up to date specs. Because I think like the worst ship to serve on would probably be an Idris, because it was built like 500 years ago, so it'd be like serving on like a barely existing ship that was built in like 1949, you know.
It'd be serving like a non-nutter USS Enterprise from Star Trek, even though it's TNG era.
Yeah. I'll let Night Cobb and Crucian. Night Cobb, what ship would you if you had to in Star Citizen universe?
I have to go with the Perseus.
Okay.
I like that. Don't get me wrong, Polaris is a solid choice too, mainly because honestly, right now it looks like they have more racks than they have crew, so there's definitely no fear of hot bunking and stuff like that.
True.
But I serve on relatively small ships, and I'm used to that. Knowing the family, the problems, the list of their top fears and all that kind of stuff of the crew around me, and I like that small boy feel, so to speak. Not to say like big ships aren't cool, but it's just that's me. That's just my little quirk, I guess. So I'd like to be on the tough nut little Perseus there with like 4 to 6 of my closest friends, and not worrying about sharing any bunks. So yeah.
Oh, that's a tough.
Unless we want to.
It is the Navy.
But not have to,
crew.
Took my choice, man. It's hard now. I'm trying to think.
Man, we're gonna be really careful with phrasing on the rest of this show.
I know.
I know.
Why, Cushion? Why do you say that? Why do you say that when I'm on the show? You know better.
I don't know. I mean, Polaris was gonna obviously be my choice as well, but I might just have to stick with that, man.
That's fine.
To be honest. So
why the Polaris though?
I mean, you stole my answer, like word
because it's
for
new.
word.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's just that like other than so
it's got torpedoes.
That's true.
Yeah, torpedoes.
No, so I'm a big fan of like 2 ships. F8 Lightning because of just the design. It's a combat ship, and then when I get attached to like a design of a ship and how it looks, I that's like my ship. And then when I saw the Polaris for the first time when it was in concept like a few years ago, I was like, this thing is insane. I love how it looked. I love everything that was the interior. You can still see all the images on probably the website. Just everything about it, the way it looks, like that's why I just cool shit, man. That's all.
And
Like I don't really buy stuff on like I don't really, even though I'm like probably 10K deep in excuse me, but
Yeah.
I don't really buy like I don't really buy
I don't have a lot of room to judge. I got a lot of money in peripherals for flight simulators, and you can't see what's beneath the camera. Thank God. From a flight peripheral standpoint.
Okay. I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I don't want to go back to the 6 to 9 standards conversation and disappointment and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I got a lot of money. Yeah. I got a lot of money in peripherals, so I mean, but not $10,000 worth. But one day probably. It's just a matter of time.
And I find it interesting that I'm the only one who chose like a mythical ship because I want to be. I'm thinking as a role player or in my character, like the Retribution should be one of the safest ship. But if I were to pick a, so what was your specific question again? It was in a
The
military
bigger
ship
they
or
are,
just a
the
ship?
harder they fall.
And the military ship. It's basically like
The
what
military ship.
what kind of, you had to serve in the UE Navy, like what ship would you serve on in the UE Navy? Or would you want to?
If it was something that Perseus. That's another mythical ship. Never mind. I don't know.
The 890 jump. The 890 jump.
The Carrack.
Life.
You can get Carrack. Carrack is technically a military ship. You could serve on the Carrack. You wouldn't see. You'd be in deep space for a very long time. But
you're total Karen at that point in time, though. You got to accept that. Atira's out there somewhere, really upset at me for referring to Karen.
Karens.
Someone clipped it.
Q-Pan, of course.
Shit.
Listen, the last time I did a short saying submariner. Last time I did a clip saying submariner reacts to it, and apparently went around the entire submariner community and got back to him, be like, hey, Chief, is this you?
Submariner, but it's a small community, and apparently submariners like watching videos about other submariners. So if you put submariner in the title, like you just got a really solid likelihood of the YouTube algorithm fucking you over.
Clickbait views. There you go, Paul.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna hear about that one from the Commodore.
I'm sorry I got you in trouble about the secret phase shifting wall technology.
Nobody's getting in trouble. It's going to be one of those awkward conversations where I get another saw you on YouTube talking about nerd shit again. I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
Hey man,
I'm not doing it at work. All right, I'm doing it on the lines now, so you can't be mad at me for wasting taxpayer money about it anymore. Because normally the temptation is to talk with all the nerds that I work with about cool ass nerd shit. You want me doing it online, not at work. So it's a win. It's a win. I don't know why he's mad, or why he's gonna be mad. Disappointed. Maybe it'll be disappointing.
I will say, in terms of like the ship discussion thing, I think the safest ship probably to work on in the UE Navy would probably be the Bengal.
Nah, man, it's a Starfarer.
Oh,
the Starfarer.
The Starfarer. The flying gas tank.
Yeah,
that sounds.
You just want one of the support ships, man. You just want one of the support ships. It's true. We shoot the support ships first. That's not wrong. Not wrong.
That's what you do.
The enemy's logistics.
Yeah.
You got to ruin
Why
the
would you
enemy's
choose the Bengal
logistics.
over the Retribution?
Because the Bengal, like the Retribution, is a giant target, and the Bengal's a giant target, but a Bengal, there's not too many of them, and they're probably not going to be charging headlong into combat all the time. If they're going out with like a bunch of support ships that are going to deal with the problems first before they.
I would
even
imagine
reach
the
you.
same thing for the Retribution, though.
Yeah, but the Retribution is also it's also a giant target. Like it is huge. It is 3 kilometers. It's three Bengals stacked together, and at least when you're going on a Bengal, there's probably maybe like 2 or 3 other Bengals with you. So it's like, hey, it's a fleet. We're out there defending. And if something gets to a Bengal, then someone fucked up. Like everyone's dead if by the time someone gets to the Bengal. If the Bengals defenses are activating, someone fucked up somewhere.
I just looked at the ship matrix and it said it's 3 kilo members. So I just wanted to correct you on that one. Yeah,
Killer members. Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer members. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Del Ener, who asks, how do y'all feel about master modes for racing? Are there any changes you would make based on how to improve it? Crew, I'll start with you on this one. Have you played a lot of master modes?
Ooh, look at his face right off the bat. I can't wait to hear this. I'm real excited for his answer. I don't know about the rest of the chat.
Look, man, all I'm gonna say is that shit needs work. That's all I'm gonna say, bro.
Okay.
like, look, I understand people are saying, I get it. I know the evolution of games. I know that something is not done when it's not done. I get it, but I just think that things should have somewhat of a skill ceiling somehow, some way, some form. I just think that things are a bit just way too slow in master modes, and I'll just leave it as that. It needs a lot of work, man. Especially for racing. Like, to see someone like Splend do what he does at that speed and not be able to do that anymore, that just kills the vibe inside of you. Like, it just kills the vibe completely. Like, it's a vibe killer to the point where, like, I don't even want to play the game anymore at some point, right? I'm not saying that I'm not going to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's a complete vibe killer for a lot of people, and I'm feeling for a lot of people in the community. But at the same time, on the other side of things, I'm going to say that I understand that what they're doing, what they're trying to do, and I know it's not done yet, and I know they're going to get better with it, right? The same way that how, Flight has changed from 2.63 to 3.0 to or 3.2 to now. So I'm confident in what they're doing, but right now Master Mode is just, for me, it's just not it. That's my only opinion, but I'm the type of person that I'll go do something else in the game. I don't have a problem. If it's poo-poo, I'll go do something else in the game. I'll go, grav-lev racing. I'll go ground racing. I'll go do something else. So it doesn't bother me, but I feel for a lot of people that really, really want, to, I just feel for those people. That's all, So, Master Mode is just tough, man. It's a tough one.
Oh, man.
I'll kind of.
And by the way, I know people are going to say, oh, well, what's your feedback? I mean, everybody already covered all the feedback that I've been. Like, I don't need to reiterate that stuff, right? They're not going to listen to me. There's other people. They got that feedback.
I do have different feedback. Yeah, I have different feedback. I am boycotting flying in game until CIG changes the name. Master Mode, really, CIG? We just had Black History Month. Really, CIG?
Man, I knew he was going to do it.
I knew he was going to do it. Like, Fast Car was like,
oh my God, bro.
I thought I was in the lead. I thought I was in the lead of who was going to get you demonetized until that moment. The moment he said that, I was like, oh shit, man. Speaking of racing, now I'm at the back of the pack.
Shit, man.
Holy shit.
I bow.
Damn.
Yeah, I think chat just stole your joke for a fast car. They're asking about the 3/5 of a mode.
Oh my goodness.
High five.
Paul, it was a good run, man.
Yeah.
You were doing so well. It was a good game. We appreciated you.
Have a good night, everybody. We're done.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
If this is your first experience with
If this is your first, it's also your last.
If this is your first Captain's Table with Fast Cart, there's a reason why he's called Black Jurassic, and it's because exactly that sort of thing.
Oh, that's the reason.
So
the actual reason is
I just totally different.
No, actual reason is I just love the initials, the acronym for Black Jurassic.
Yeah.
Wow.
That took a moment. That took a moment.
The joke. So for those who want to know the real reason, it's because when I say that is, I mean, because Fastcart does not have a hesitate button. He doesn't have an off button. Not here. You have to go to Soul Citizens to find the Fastcart's off button.
Or Citizen Con.
Yeah. But it was the time in Captain's Table when there was nothing going on. It was like middle of July.
Before 318 or something? No, it was way before that. No,
it was way before that. It was Jurassic World had just come out, like a couple of months before that. Because you would the thing was something about like your RP pilot's name is
the question was the color of your shirt and something beside you or something nearby you.
Yeah, it was a statement, and I was about to say something to the effect of like, only questions, no comments. And Fastcart immediately goes, Black Jurassic.
And I held up a Blu-ray of
because he was wearing a black shirt and he had a Blu-ray DVD of Jurassic World. But he knew exactly what he was doing when he said Black Jurassic, because it's Fastcart.
Oh my gosh, man!
So everyone on the cast loved it.
I can't.
That is his nickname.
Crucian's worried about getting demonetized for being a part of this.
CIG.
He's in there. He's like, Atmo Esports is compromised, y'all. I don't know what to do anymore.
You want to hear how bad it is? CIG made Fastcart an official ambassador for Star Citizen. He's one of 2 official ambassadors. He was named that in 2016.
That was way before people vested me out, put it that way. This was like 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah. So CIG is someone's going to go back and find find pictures of Fastcart, and I'm going to continue to point to the fact that he's an official ambassador to Star Citizen, so that when CIG is going to have to disown everybody, they're just going to have to shut it down. They're going to have to shut down the whole community. This game is going to fail,
he's
not because
too big to take down. It's like, no, can't take me down. I'm a part of this. If I go down, everybody goes down. You made a mistake, guys. I like it.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I think at this point,
I'd love to offer some feedback on Master Modes if we want to get back to talking about Star Citizen. But I mean, like, if we don't, I'm fine with that.
So Master Modes, my thought on Master Modes is that I don't have enough time with it to kind of give my own personal opinion too much. But the people who have commented on it are people I trust, who I know play the game a lot and have played it a lot. And I think the biggest problem comes down to the fact that a lot of people don't like those sorts of players, but they also forget that like it's not the combat players are affected. It's racers. And I think there's not enough people who know about racing in Star Citizen to really be like, oh, right, this is a gameplay aspect. Like, people forget that it is a gameplay mode. It is a way you can make money in the game. Like, it is a part of the gameplay is racing. And when even the racers are saying the same thing, I always say, like, this is a signpost, CIG. Like, these are the kinds of people who are so they're touching, the game in such a fundamental way. Like, they're part of the experience on a basic level that a lot of players don't really deal with. And they're doing things that are beyond or at the edge of what the game is capable of doing, that when they start raising red flags, everyone else should be paying attention to it. Because usually it trickles down at that point to the point where like everyone else is going to start feeling it in a couple of months. So if they're saying, hey, it's not fun, it slows the game down too much, and it's going to make the game more unfun for everybody else, and then they have suggestions, which, they don't just say, this sucks, I hate it. It's like, and I'm not going to play it anymore. It's more like, these are the things we'd like to change, and these are the things you could improve upon it. Those should be taken into account. And I think players should be backing up those sorts of comments instead of just being like, well, whatever, you deal with it. Times change, old man. Time to move on. Like, that's not a helpful sort of feedback mechanism for, that sort of comment, especially if they're giving feedback specifically. So, I don't know. Night Cobb, how do you feel about Master Modes for racing?
Ooh, I got thoughts. I got thoughts. Paul, to your point about the, where I think a lot of people are struggling with the gross disagreement, and I worry that it focuses so much on sometimes on, well, that's just the opinion of a specific player base. That's the opinion of this player base. And there's this, yeah, you know what it boils down to? And this is where I think CIG might have bit themselves in the foot a little bit. And the problem with open development and the way it's gone for the last 10 years. They designed, and Christian, back me up on this. They designed racetracks in the game based on the previous speeds and the sensation of speed and the awe-inspiring aspect of it is often dictated by the relationship to speed and the track and the terrain. And the unfortunate causality of you did this design based on much higher speeds, now you drop the speeds is against certain tracks and against certain terrain, it's going to feel slow. Unless you do something to like redesign the track, redesign the terrain. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of think that applies to flight combat in a lot of ways too. It's like we lived in a world so long where the scale of this game was so big that the speeds being high helped us manage the scale of the game. And what we then did was we scaled down the speed without scaling down the game. So even if you're in like an asteroid field in yellow, don't be wrong, there are busy spots, um, but it's one of those things like they don't feel that busy when you're only doing like 200 meters per second. They feel dangerous when you're above like 500 meters per second, and it feels dynamic and awe-inspiring and hectic from a terrain standpoint. When you cut the speeds, if you don't adjust the terrain modeling, or the environment to match those speeds, just to give you that same relative sensation of this is fast, this is adrenaline inducing, this is high pressure, high stress. That's what you end up feeling, is that like kind of this feels slow. And because I mean, you can attach a number, 500 meters a second, 1,000 meters a second, 200 meters a second, 1,000 meters a second at 30,000 feet, with a truly like space orbit style view. It doesn't feel that fast, but when you do 1,000 meters a second down on the ground in mountainous terrain with like cliffs, running by you and stuff like that, that feels crazy fast. And you can achieve the same thing at 200 meters a second when you're down low to the ground. You just have to have the right terrain for it. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's kind of been the problem, is they'd started designing tracks and they started catering to the racing community, and then all of a sudden master modes came in and just like flipped the rug out from under them without without us getting to the point of, oh shit, we need to redesign the environment to keep it the same feel, because it had a good feel before. And I think CIG realized it. That's why they were catering to the racing community, because it already existed. And they're like, oh man, we should do some tracks for you guys. But those tracks are based on previous speeds, and I think that's where a lot of the root source of the problem is now.
Mhm.
But that's me. Christian, I'd love
Uh,
to hear your thoughts, man.
Oh, that's
Todd,
very, very spot on. Very spot on. And I'm gonna say that even though we're talking negative about it, I honestly, like I always say, that I do trust CIG. Not obviously, like there's times like kind of like now, like the ground vehicles are complete garbage, right? Like
Mhm.
when you go up a hill, you're like a cyclone is stuck. That's not supposed to be up there, right? But at the same time, it's like it's just a waiting game, right? I
Mhm.
think they are going to improve it, but they have to figure out like how different things work in order to please that top 1%, but also help out the new people that may not know how to, like it may be too much of a high learning curve to enjoy the game, and with the current flight model, right? Now talking from a high level, like, fight or flight, we did the tournament with some of the top, combat pilots in the game. When we were in atmosphere, it was great. Everything was slowed down. It made sense, right? When you're in space, is just a jousting battle, and it's not really fun to watch. So why didn't we just try to find a way to tweak the current model and slow it down a little bit, then just make something completely brand new and completely, not make it fun for people. But at the same time, like I said, I'm gonna give him time. I'm not gonna, this is just my opinion. I'm gonna give him time to fix, to tweak, to get the feedback that they need. I trust them. I know that they have the players in their best interest, and I hope that they don't wait to see like a decline in like people in AC that don't want to play anymore to fix it. And I hope they just, take the feedback seriously and do something about it sooner rather than later, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I totally agree with everything Nightcob said.
Yeah, I think that's also my concern. Mostly is that I feel like this has the potential to drive people away unless CIG is quickly iterating on it. Because one of the problems with master modes is that it's testing in a vacuum. We don't have the new surface controls for like atmospheric flight.
Yeah.
Like we don't have any of that. We don't have the weapon balance changes. We don't have the new resource system input. We don't have the new damage model. Like all that stuff isn't in, and it's like this feels like something that was built with all of those in mind, and we're getting it without any of those in the game. So it's like we're getting one part of a 6-part like puzzle, and they're asking us for feedback. It's like, yeah, we're gonna see all the problems where the edge cases where, well, this other puzzle piece would fit in and fix that. It's like, but you don't have that in there. So I don't know how good that feedback's going to be without the full picture involved. So yeah.
I think the communities. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. I'm talking enough.
Well, I think the community is also struggling with or at least I know I am. When the discussion of master modes comes up, there's a nugget in the back of your head that's like, I mean, master modes, they keep saying it's feature complete and they're in polished stages, and I understand that could still be a lot of tuning and everything like that, but you assume the flight model is mostly worked out in Squadron 42, and that's the master modes is the base.
Yeah.
Master modes is the baseline discussion for that. So you kind of like sit there and you're talking about when you talk about master modes, it seems probably a little bit more permanent than it is. And again, you start asking yourself the question like, well, we're missing a lot of pieces to this puzzle. Does Squadron 42 have pieces to this puzzle?
Yeah.
And we just haven't seen them yet? Like, or are you guys still well into development on that? We're in a bad spot, I feel like, based on things they've told us, things they haven't told us, and just like, but we want you to test and we want you to give us feedback. And it's like, well, how far along are you guys on this? We really need to understand where you're at and what your end goal is here.
I'm coming from the assumption that those are finished or in some way, shape, or form ready for Squadron. And someone else pointed out and says no one's testing it. No offense, but a ton of creators and players say I haven't tested it, but I have tested it. I just want to be very clear. I have played it multiple times. I just haven't played it to the point where like I could give feedback directly to CIG. There's it's like the time, like it's like when you play a game and the first time the spectacle and the change and the nuance, like the difference, and you're like, wow, this is great. But then 4 hours in, you're like, oh, you find the little weird parts and it just sort of fall apart. It's like watching a TV show where the first couple of episodes are just like bang in your face. You're like, yeah, I love this. This is hard-hitting drama or action or romance or whatever. And then like episode 4 and episode 5, it just starts to drag out. Like you couldn't really see if this TV show is good by the first 3 episodes, or maybe it's even bad first 3 episodes and it gets better over time. Like, The Expanse is a good example of that. And those sorts of analogies is what I'd say for like I've tested it. I've played it multiple times. I've even played it on stream. It's just I don't feel like I have enough experience to give my own feedback in that sort of direction. And I think that's where a lot of people are as well. Is that like, those people who really care about it are the ones who've been playing it constantly, and that's why it's kind of important to see those sorts of things. All right, fast cut. Go ahead, crew. Sorry.
No, I just say yeah.
Oh. Well, I just wanted to say, like, 7 minutes ago, Cobb was saying we live in a world, and ever since he said that, everything that he said past that, I was hearing in a movie voice format.
In a world.
That's it. In a world.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
That's all.
That was an awful impression. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I'm sorry, guys.
This is a good talk, because I did not expect that one question to take that long. That was a good question.
I was just gonna finalize that. Like, look, man. Regardless what they put, I'm gonna play it anyways. So
yeah,
like I'm gonna as a gamer, I'm just gonna adapt. I'm gonna there's gonna be scenarios where it's gonna be fun regardless. So like at the end of the day, am I being picky? Am I being a little bit harsh? Maybe, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna play it anyways. It's not my choice. So whatever they put out, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a competition out of it.
Yeah.
We can only hope that CIG addresses it. I think my reaction in terms of any changes is because that was the last part of it. Is there any changes you'd make based off of it and improve it? The only thing I would say is just as long as they're iterating on it, as long as they don't let it die, as long as Yogi and his crew are doing it, getting it released for 3.23 and then 3.23.1, we have more improvements in 3.23.2 and maybe a 3.24 or 4.0, and we just that team constantly is dialing it in and kind of working those knobs. If that works, it's great. But
And as long as CIG changes the name, I'll be fine with it. Just change the name, CIG.
yeah,
Right.
Guys, I hope you're enjoying the last captain's table.
forever.
Hey,
I know I'm trying
the last time I was on, I made a joke and said, "This is the last time Paul has me on." I think it's probably going to be true this time.
Fastcard comes in here and he's like,
That's the
"I'm
last time
jumping
anybody's
now."
going to be on.
You know what? Whenever
We're all the last guests, guys.
whenever Fast Cart comes on in the future, I'm just going to title it "The Last Captain's Table Ever." That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
going to do.
There you go. There you go.
So that's all the
Captain
clickbait I
Tag is the
need.
final
Everyone will be like,
punch,
"You're
yeah.
quitting?" It's like, no, Fast Cart's here. We're all done.
You just got to tell them it's like the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's like it feels like it's the end here, but it's not. We'll
Yeah.
take everybody up. We'll do a sequel. It'll be great.
Emancipation mode.
Ooh.
Who said that?
Congrats,
Oh,
Chat.
Dell.
Dell. That
Yeah.
is
Contributed to the
awesome.
problem.
I'm going to steal
You've
that.
contributed
Let
to
me
the
copy
problem
that.
now, chat. There you go. You're part of this too.
All right, next question comes from Northern Trooper, who asks, U.S. Navy ships, depending on their class, are named after cities, states, presidents. I don't believe UE Navy named their ships after cities or presidents. If you could name one after a city in lore, which would it be? I will clarify, based off of what we know, Idrises are based off of systems, because it's based off of the Idris, which is Idris is a system. The Javelin is based off of medieval or ancient weapons and technology, because we've got the Gauntlet, the Warhammer, the Fleisa. These are all kind of weapons technology. Yeah. Bengals are named after big cats, but just cats in general. And the Polaris, we don't know what the other ships of the Polaris would be. The Perseuses are named after mythical heroes, because like there's like the Achilles, the Perseus. And then the Nautilus, I don't think has names. The Nautilus and the Carracks don't have names. They're named after.
That's because the Nautilus is another mythical creature, much like the end.
Yeah, that's true.
But because they're
No reason to
subcaps.
Dig
Because
into that category.
the reason why because they're subcaps, they actually have like Q1 FGX or whatever. Like they have designations that's based off of their missions, but it's not based off of like their actual, like they don't have names. I don't want to think what's the other one. Yeah, and that's about it. So, but it has been pointed out that there are not that many systems in the UEE. There's like 32. So, and there's probably far more than 32 Idrises that have ever been around, or even are currently serving in the UEE Navy based off the size of that Navy. So, I guess what we could say is, if you could name an Idris off of a city in lore, what would it be? I'll start with you, Fastcard.
It has to be a city. I would say the Phoenix, and if it's a black Idris, Dark Phoenix.
All right.
I can dig it.
Night Cop?
I want the UE Loreville. And I want it to be
Garbage?
I want it to be well I want
third.
well, I'm sure Crucian can appreciate this. I want that to be the lowest morale ship that there is. like everybody's like, the captain is a dictator. This place is a prison, you know? Like that's the revolving tone around the UE Loreville. Or I want it to be so far on the other side of the spectrum that it's a running joke that's like, you know,
the best ship in the fleet. You know?
It's the best ship in the fleet, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, you know, they got like the highest kill count, warmongering, you know, something along those lines. That'd be fun.
Crew.
I say that one also because I'm sorry, Paul, and I don't mean to disappoint you, but I am really shitty at the lore.
Yeah.
Despite how much I watch you.
As much as you like the lore, you just don't know.
Yeah, as
you
much
don't
as I
know
like
a
the
lot.
lore, I'm like really shitty about it. So don't hate. I'm sorry.
Crew.
I'll be better.
Man, I don't.
I think it could also be like ships, like cities in real life. Like, because you can think about it as like because they're going to run out of names quick. So I can imagine them just being like, the Copenhagen, you know, the
Copenhagen.
yeah, the like
People will be like, wait,
the
is it
perf,
named after a
you know?
cologne or a city? And that's when you realize they're educated in the American education system. It's
right.
I want the USS Levski. Bring that back.
There we go.
Bring it back.
Oh yeah,
Bring it back.
that'd be really great too, because like the UE Levski could have like the lore behind it, be like it just disappeared one day, and then
we don't know where it's been.
Yeah, we don't know where it is. Everybody's been looking for it, hoping it comes back.
Oh,
It's a Nixie,
what
but
ship?
it'll be all right.
What military ship would might be a science ship, an Enterprise name? Because I mean, they have a space shuttle in history, a real
gotta
space
be.
shuttle named Enterprise.
It would probably be the Carrack. Just because like the Carrack is a science ship.
yeah.
It's the only military science ship. So I can imagine there's an honorary UES Enterprise, which is a Carrack. So,
Also,
I
there's
w-
something Terra. Terra sounds cool.
yeah.
Just
I was gonna say the UES New Austin, because New Austin is a city on Terra, and
oh yeah.
I live in Austin, the old Austin, so I'm biased. It's also the headquarters of Origin Jumpworks, so you know, or
Has to be a luxury ship.
yeah, or the UES Nova Kiev, because that's another ship on Terra, or another city on Terra, and it's the headquarters of Anvil Aerospace. So, and that's just
And the main character from Skyrim,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how that works.
Right? I'm not sure anymore. You guys laughed, and now I'm thinking I might have gotten it wrong.
I never played
All right.
Skyrim. I'm winning it for you.
I don't know. I probably angered a few people in chat. My bad, guys.
Live in a barrel fast car. You gotta play Skyrim. Come on.
I tried playing Oblivion. I played it for like a few hours. It was not for me, and I just swore off all the other Elder Scrolls games after that.
Fair enough.
Midnight Black SC asks, with Invictus 2.5 months away, what military roles would you like to see filled with a new ship sales, if any? So in terms of like ships, military ships, would you like to see? Crew, any ideas?
Damn. Y'all making me think now. I'll take it last because I need to, like, my brain needs to process all the ships that in real life and what we have in game, and then kind of like, you know, start to.
Yeah. Nightcap.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're missing any roles. I'll tell you what I want you. Well, that have not been originally designed from a ship perspective, but y'all do us a super solid and make the Terrapin and other scanner ships like the functional AWACS of the freaking universe for a change. Like, please give them some love. I know you're doing more scanner ships like the Cutter scanner variant, and the poor little turtle has gotten no love, and it needs love. And I need you guys to like encourage that gameplay and, you know, make that a reality, because, you know, that's a great little support ship for the, you know, more military combat focused people and even not combat focused people. You know, help some people out. Give the Terrapin some love. It needs it. All right. I'm asking real nice.
I agree. The Terrapin needs
It's the
some help.
nicest I get.
Fast code.
See, I'm more of an industrial person, so trying to think of a military ship or role is difficult for me. But I would love to see more alien ship, maybe alien military ship. But other than that, UE ships, I have no idea, unfortunately.
We just got the Santaki Eye.
And the
Not a bigger one.
and the what's the other one? The starter ship.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
The
the little thing from Halo.
Sulin,
Or not Halo,
yeah.
sorry,
Sulin,
Destiny. The ghost. Yeah, the Destiny ghost.
From
Yeah.
Halo.
That is just Destiny. I see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
I never
it's a
thought of it
Destiny
that way.
ghost.
I mean, all I can think of is just something. I mean, we have water. Put something in the water, I guess something in the. I mean, that's.
Oh
I know
man,
that's like
I saw
a
that.
boat.
I saw that boat in
Yeah, I
Squadron
know.
42, y'all.
I mean, that's
I-
skiv. You know, that's skiv.
I was gonna say fast car. You said industrial. That's one thing I would see is industrial, like kind of like military ship style. Like we have a sort of cargo ship with the military with the C1
The
or the
Gemini.
M1,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then but we don't really have like a freighter. Like we don't have a military freighter. Something that's like you're gonna load up, you know, your Novas and your like your
Not the
400.
Legionnaire. What's the
your-
other one?
your
It's
full-
a
your-
civilian, but
C-130, like a C-130 kind of vibe.
Yeah, or like a container ship, you know, like it's like a merchant marine. Like we don't really have a kind of like a merchant marine ship. We sort of do with the whole series, but like I don't think you're gonna want to rock up on a whole series in the middle of a combat zone. That doesn't sound like a good time for anybody.
what is
but-
that anvil ship that can carry multiple ships on it? It's not the
Liberator.
The Liberator, yeah.
Liberator. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, but like more, you know, something that can carry ground vehicles, maybe some ships,
something bigger, more industrial.
Yeah.
An internalized hold, internal hold.
Yeah,
I get
something
what
like
you're
a
saying.
like a whole series, but it's internal. So it's like it's a little bit like safer, and it can hold anything from, like I said, your combat vehicles to the crates filled with 7,000 MREs. You know, stuff that's just
Oh yeah.
easier to kind of move around.
Good eats.
So yeah. Yeah, support ships. Some military support ships, because like we kind of have the Apollo, which is a military like medical ship, and we have the Gemini, I think is what it is, which is the
Gemini. Starfarer Gemini.
The Starfarer Gemini. But we don't have like the whole like CA or whatever. Like we don't have any kind of like military versions of some other than those things. So, and yeah, we have the C2 M2, but the M2 and C2 are like, they're kind of like ground support. Like they're designed for you to like roll in and roll off like vehicles, like for like landing. I'm talking about like who's taken the bulk stuff to a station or a ready place, or like to load up those C2s and M2s to go to where you need to, like a C5 Galaxy. Yeah, like a C5 Galaxy sort of thing. So, anyways, next question. Hagboard ML asks, do we believe the Idris is a frigate or a carrier? Is the payload of fighters / light bombers the main weapon, or is it the ship itself? I think the question is, that's a good question, but I think the answer is the ship is is whatever you want it to do. Because I don't think there's very many capital ships in Star Citizen that aren't carriers.
Right.
The Polaris has fighter capability. So does the Javelin. So does the obviously the Bengal.
The Retribution.
Yeah, we don't know, but almost certainly it has fighter capabilities. I'm trying to think what it is.
I mean, I
Perseus
consider
doesn't,
it
but
just
it's
a
not a capital
smaller
ship.
carrier. I don't think it's like a full carrier. I just consider it a smaller one, but that's just
Yeah.
I don't think it's a frigate. I mean,
I-
if we are considering like the meaning behind it,
Mhm.
like a frigate in real life doesn't maybe just a couple helos.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you think about that. I mean, even like destroyers, Arleigh Burkes carry, you know, most of them have a helicopter pad at the back, and they have, you know, at least a helo, you know, as a support aircraft and all that kind of stuff. So you could probably leave it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, it feels like splitting hairs of, you know, and not only that, but I sometimes comparing, you know, real life military to the spaceships and stuff like that, and determining like classes of vessels. It's kind of like, I don't know if we're really in these categories anymore, guys.
I believe 100.
We've stepped outside of the box.
I believe 100% that CIG regrets using real life names
Yeah,
for like classifications.
I mean, what
because
it's
now
started
everyone's
12 years
gonna
ago,
compare.
so probably.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like from a lore perspective, from a writing perspective, it like you don't want people comparing your Javelin to an Arleigh Burke all the time, because they're not the same vehicles and any at all. You know, no one's gonna say like, oh, the Bengal, so let's compare the Bengal to Gerald R. Ford. It's like, no, you don't want to do that. You want people to think of your ship as unique and what it does in your game.
Well, I can only imagine that, but back in 2012 when they first started all this stuff, they had way fewer ships in mind for the game. So yeah, they probably thought they could get away with it back then.
Yeah. Because it's also like perspective and like the point of the story, and so like the things you're telling. So like, yeah, you could say that like the Idris and the Javelin are kind of like the fact that they have carrier or like fighters is more like the ability to hold a helo in modern day Navy. But like, it's also completely different. Like, I don't know, but I certainly hope that the U.S. Navy isn't sending a single frigate off into the middle of, like, say, the coast of Somalia to deal with problems of piracy, like they are in Squadron 42, where it's just a frigate hanging around like one location. That's probably not a good idea, but it's great for narrative point of view because it's a solo ship and a den of vipers. You know, that's a great story.
I mean,
not realistic, but great story.
If it's something Test Squadron would do, you don't want to do it. Obviously.
Yeah. So, but yeah. And anybody else have any comments on that, or we can move on because we've got about 8 questions left.
Nope.
All right. Trouble Magnet asks, should CIG stop having elements that require server hopping as they don't run on every server? This excludes events that happen on a timer on all servers that can end early.
I'm sorry, I got lost. What was the question?
The question is server hopping. Basically, should they stop having events that require server hopping to get access to?
Oh,
yeah, because I like events like Invictus Fleet because you can hop on any server and you can find a fleet somewhere.
I mean that's not requiring server hopping. That's just server hopping.
Yeah,
doesn't hurt the event. It doesn't detract from the event. I think what they're asking is.
No.
Yeah, we lost them.
Yeah. Right is perfect timing too. I think what they're asking is.
They probably saw his clip and cut his internet.
That wasn't me.
But what they're asking is like the fact that you have to hop servers.
It won't matter with server meshing, so I think it's just very rhetorical.
I do think that the honest to God answer is, like, I don't think CIG wants to do these sorts of events all the time, and they won't. And I think they'll be more like what we said earlier, which is like the sort of the rotating or like behind some sort of reputation gate, and preparing for that event and stuff like that, because that's what CIG wants to do anyways. So, all right, Shimpasta.
He just said power just knocked him out momentarily due to a storm. He'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Chapasa asks, as Star Citizen grows, will it become harder to have events that are fair or go on/run for 24 hours? I don't think so. Crew pointed out a good example of that, which is like the WoW events that you have to kind of prepare for and kind of unlock, and they happen, they come out like, but it's like people have to prepare for it, but the event is always available for people. And I think that's the answer. That's the solution to a lot of those sorts of problems, where you could unlock it, but you're going to have to prepare to unlock it. Then once you unlock it, it's going to be an event that's going to take you a long time. And you might find somebody who's already started to unlock it and those sorts of things. But, y'all get the idea?
Yeah.
Anything y'all want to add to it? Like, do you think there's a way that they could... Is it going to be harder for them to have these fair events where everyone can participate and everyone can experience it?
I mean, we kind of covered that in the previous segment, so I don't have anything more to say.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. It's just, I'm hoping that with server meshing coming along, everybody's going to be able to hopefully enjoy it. But also, think about it, right? Like, a server right now only holds 100 people. When we get server meshing, we're dealing with an entire shard that can hold 1,000 people. How much harder is it going to be able to get to these events now when you only had to worry about a few other, tens of people instead of thousands of people. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to see how it's going to evolve, but I think CIG got it. I think they know what they're going to do, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we brought it up before, but I cannot imagine all the data that the developers got from running this event. So hopefully they'll be able to improve it and take the criticism and make it better next time, if there is a next time.
Yeah. All right. Midnight Black SC asks, how much more content do you think we need when thousands of us are on the same shard together with dynamic server meshing? I feel like 2 systems and a handful of landing zones are nowhere near enough, but how much would you like to see? I think it's important to remember that most of Star Citizen is going to be a PvE experience. Your typical experience is going to be around you doing missions for other people, and maybe some mission givers or some events and stuff like that. I think that's more focused than, say, the PvP stuff, where PvP is more of a kind of self-generated or other things like that. And I think the key is just turning the dial up. So like I don't think we quite have enough volume of content per system, or per planet, that should be there. But as CIG adds more things, they can start add just more stuff to do. They just have to turn up the amount of available missions, and I think more people will be able to do it as long as they have enough space. What do you think, Fastcart?
I was gonna say 3 systems for 1,000 people, maybe. I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I mean, space is big. We know, so maybe
space be crazy. So
space be crazy. I know that reference. So yeah, maybe 3 systems at least minimum. My opinion.
3. What do you think, Crew?
I want it all, man, but pretty good question there. I feel like it's enough. I think a lot of people don't understand that there's like so much that still hasn't been put in the game. Like Damar's not done. Like every single thing in Stanton's not done. I tell a lot of people that I feel like once they have all the technical, shabu down, as I don't know what you want me to call it, I feel like they're gonna start cranking out a lot of systems like it's like they just had it in their back pocket, right?
Yeah.
I feel like once all that is in, you're gonna see one system just drop after the other, after the other, after the other, and we're gonna be like, yo, like we had one system yesterday, and now we have 6 in 1 year. So I just feel like I just feel like there's gonna be so many different possibilities that you're gonna get in a game and you're not gonna see people as often as you think. Like you said, Paul, like it's gonna be a lot of PVE until you run into somebody or something, or somebody takes over your base, or your base building in some place that you don't even know where you're at. But I don't know. I think that kind of like World of Warcraft, I think things are gonna grow. So you'll start seeing like maybe 500 people, 1,000 people in a shard, and then from there, as technology develops, you're gonna see 10,000 people in that shard as they have more and more systems. So I don't think that it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be super limited, but it's gonna grow, throughout.
Christian, you're like Oprah. You get a system. You get a system. Everybody gets a system.
Two things.
Yeah.
Someone said, is CIG planning to reach 1,000 people per server? I want to be very clear. CIG's planning on having, we have no idea the number, but CIG is planning to have, the shard, which is not really a server. It's more complicated, like, because people use shard to mean server and for most MMO stuff, but in CIG, a shard is not the same. It's kind of the same, but you can move out. The shard, they're planning on having regional shards. So, like, their ultimate goal is, like, North America has one shard, which would effectively be everyone in North America could be on the same server at the same time. Or Australian shard, Asian shard, European shard. Like, that's their ultimate goal. So, like, they're not planning on 1,000 people per server. They're planning on tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people per server on the outset, but they have no idea what the upper limit is. That's the thing. Like, they got to find out what the upper limit is, and they don't know where that is yet, but they're trying to. So,
As long as it don't require time dilation like in Eve,
Yeah,
it should be
that's
fine.
that's the reason why they're doing regional rather than a one global shard, is because they're like, when you start dealing with like the limits of physics, the speed of light, it just isn't fast enough.
I think a good way to break it down is like if you look at WoW servers, you have all like say you have 20 servers in one region, but like if I want to like and say I'm in North America and say I want to play with somebody in the EU, like if somebody well, I don't think that's a good analogy now that I think about it, because I can't play with anybody in EU. Damn it.
Yeah, but you can in Star Citizen. You'll be able to play.
But so that means like if they invite you to their party, then you're on their shard because that's the party lead pretty much, or vice versa. Like so that's yeah.
Yeah, you'll just eat the lag on your end. If you're going to play with your friends, you're going to have a higher ping. So that's just going to happen.
And can you imagine shard versus shard PvP battle? That'll be
God. So Nightcub, I'll ask the same question to you so we can kind of go through that. Like the question is CIG ready for thousands of people per servers? Is there enough content? And what kind of how much content do they need for
right away
for that sort of thing?
Thanks. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. I mean, like it was a hard shutdown.
Yeah.
Like, lightning flash, and I don't even know if you heard the thunder. It was just one of those like ba-boom, it's all gone.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. It was perfect timing.
How hard?
It's so hard.
Wow.
So hard. Caught me off guard. It was so hard. I'm rhyming now. There you go.
When you was like, I think that the question was, and then you just paused, and we heard the and then it went black, and it was just like, wow,
no,
that's how it was on Titan too for us. It went black.
He was like,
I didn't know what to do.
The answer is,
it was hard. It was hard, black, and then I was stunned into silence.
Yeah, you went like the answer is, and then it gets cut off, and it was like, whoa, he was about to give us the answer to everything. It was like an epic answer. It was like the time was.
No. I don't even remember what the question was. That's how shell shocked I was from how hard and how black it came at me. Like, talking about power outage.
Yes. So the question being, how much content do you think CIG needs to make to kind of like for that thousands of people? Like, do you think CIG has enough content now?
No. It's like an easy no.
How much would be enough content, do you think, though, for those sort of people?
Do you want honestly? We just need to have purpose, and we have no purpose. We're like Zod from Superman right now. It's just like what are we doing in your universe other than just kind of getting together and having fun? Which there's value in that, and that's what you've built. You've got a sandbox, but Crucian really eloquently stated it earlier. It's like our racing is one of the few things in this game, like our tournaments that we've brought to the game are one of the few things that have purpose within the game that brings a community and the players together to achieve something. And, that's kind of the problem. It's like, you guys can have all the content you want. And don't get me wrong, I think there's actually a good bit of content in the game in terms of missions and potential. But man, we just got like no reason to do it most of the time. And so part of me thinks it's not even so much a content problem for thousands of people. It's like
it's a purpose.
You need to give us. You got to give us some purpose here. Like even if it was not like a player gained purpose, but man, if it was like what not Eve ED is doing or Helldivers is doing, where it's like sometimes it's like you don't even give me the reward. Sometimes I just want to be
invasion,
like sometimes I just want an in-game purpose, where it's like, hey, this means something in terms of how it affects the game universe. Dude, if there was an actual election system going on right now and your job was to hand out ballots to determine which person got elected by NPC AI in game, we'd be doing it.
Yeah.
And we'd be invested in that. And, that's what I think you really need to satisfy thousands of players, more so than some of the content that they've driven up. Is like, if that content has meaningful purpose, then I think they've got a good bit of content to get us at least going.
Yeah,
I agree. Purpose.
I think the like having something where like Xenothread is coming into the verse, and you're like, hey, The Xenothread is doing probing events, and it'll spawn random events for they're coming into. People would be on patrols. People would
absolutely.
They don't even need the mission money. They'll get 15 people together and be like, yeah, you get like 5 UEC per pop, and it's like, yeah, but we're moving there is some line somewhere on a website that's moving, and we're gonna make that line move. Like. I've seen how dedicated people are with Helldivers, where it's like that planet is close to liberation. People will pile on that thing. And it's like, we got barely anything. We barely did it, but we completed our mission. It's like, because they want to see that. They want to see line move up. And never underestimate the power of people having a purpose to see line move up. Even if it doesn't their own line, sort of thing. So,
Paul, I am uncomfortable with the thought of Xenothread closing and piling. That's just not for me.
All right, moving on from Fastcard. I need a mute button for Fastcard these days.
Oh, man, because he already set the bar so high. That's we're not even getting close to what he did earlier.
Yeah,
he killed your podcast forever.
That's
over there cringing, just like that's never going to be able to go on air at an Atmo Esports event after this.
It just gives you a good warning. Never bring him up on stage to say anything. I'm good.
No, man. Well, you're looking to becoming an official esports. That is not your guy. That's not your guy.
Not the person. Nope.
Yeah, so, the one. CIG already made their bed. No reason for you to. All right.
So the last
official ambassador.
The last question is from New Soul Sound. So I'm going to ask this last question first because of this bringing it up. New Soul Sound says, how hard is it to get a specific joke ban for Fastcart? He's corrupting the community, and we need to get rid of this disease now. I'm gonna have to add one. I'm gonna have to add a redemption just for when Fastcart comes on. Where's the joke ban? People have to pay for it.
Well, Star Citizen already have one. I just need one channel
that you can express yourself.
Try to explain me. I mean, literally, I'm not making this up.
Maybe instead of
there's a joke ban on Star Citizen channel.
So what I should maybe I should do the opposite.
Fans are for, buddy. Yeah, you need a channel to express yourself. Unrestricted.
Black Jurassic.
Oh,
I think you're gonna get a whole different batch of people coming to that what you weren't looking for.
Oh gosh. What I was gonna say is
what you're looking for. You never know.
Well, yeah. Damn. 6 to 9. 6 to 9. Jesus.
I'm trying to say maybe what I need is instead of a joke ban that we need to have something redemption so that Fastcart can make a joke. So it's just like one of those things where like he gets he gets the stage.
Yeah. Give him an allowance.
I am not going to tell how many tokens I have in Paul because he's just going to make me use them all. So I'm just going to be quiet about that.
All right.
You just have to have an override one. That's all.
Yeah. The next question comes from M. Walker, who says, do you think the Idris event may have been a prelude for missions for the Legionnaire that's coming out this year? Maybe.
Pat, you got to watch your phrasing. Jesus Christ. You've heard the rest of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. What are we going to do, guys?
I don't know. Because I think the problem is that the way that they kind of the way you kind of attacked an Idris was through you had to like disable it and then kind of open the doors. I don't think that's going to change much this year. Like, yeah, maybe you could dock with the Legionnaire and like open the doors because it's already dead. But like, I don't know if it's like I don't know how I feel about a mission that's just for one ship. That sounds like a bad mission design. Be like, yeah, we're gonna make a mission for just one ship. Like,
not wrong.
Like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I just think what they're doing is that because like CR said, Chris Roberts said, they don't want to gatekeep shit anymore. So they're just finding out cool ways to release it to not gatekeep. Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think it's like maybe it's hinted to something bigger, but like. Yeah. I just think they're just like, hey, F8, okay, gone. Like Idris, okay, cool.
What do we got? What do we got in the bag that we can go right now? This, do it.
How can we make more than 110 million this year? We have it. Put that shit out. Let's go. It's all good.
So the answer is, I think it's part of the reason, but I don't think we're ever going to get a mission that's just for the Legionnaire. I think it's one of those things where it's going to be a happy accident, where if CIG does a mission where you have to capture an Idris full of NPCs, and they happen to have the Legionnaire out, CIG would be like, hey, we got a Legionnaire, we can sell it. Here we go. We get to use a Legionnaire, but I don't think it's ever going to be like a design thing. So, what do you think, Fastcar? Do you think any input? Do you think that this is a shadow preview of what's coming out with later in the year?
We kind of covered it in the previous segment, but you should expect that they're going to use the data, come back with a better event than they had this time. Maybe a event will be the Idris, maybe the Javelin for next time, or not next time, but one day, and they'll take the what the community have done this time and make sure that they that they make the rules so that it's more fair to everybody. So yeah.
All right, we got last two questions. Steve did answer as asking both of them. He starts off with, what new ships will we see for Invictus and completed ships? I don't think we'll see any crazy ships for Invictus. I do think that the Polaris. I think the Polaris may have a chance to release at Invictus. So.
And don't we have that Mirage? Well, that's more of that won't be Invictus. That's more of
That might be a 3.23, which I don't think
is.
What
ship did you say?
There's a
the Mirai.
Yeah, the Mirai heavy fighter thing that they showed off at the silhouette.
Is that? Are we?
It's not official or anything like that. But if they,
I know.
They found it's one of those things. It's one of those things they found in the files, though. So if I remember correctly, so it's like one of those things that we know it's sort of there, and they did show off that silhouette earlier. So.
By the way, I'm not basing this on anything other than that Citizen Con. So I don't know what Tom is thinking about, but I'm just going by the.
Well, it's because I specifically have a rule where we don't share leaks unless there's a source,
right?
Because like CIG is very, very, very careful about that sort of thing,
right?
So, but I do believe there's a source for that one. So I'm just like,
I mean, here's the thing, Paul. I hope that you're right. Because it's got that Gunstar look almost to it for me, and I'm like, man, I've been waiting for CIG to lean into the last Starfighter.
I mean, they would make so much money.
Give me a Gunstar. Oh my god, yeah. So I'm freaking down. I would love for that thing to show up sooner rather than later.
But I don't know if we're going to see anything crazy. CIG is not some master magician that's being like, you'll never see what I have behind my back, kind of thing. They always tell us what they're doing. And we know that CIG is working on a ship with 2 variants that they've been working on for a while. That's in, I think, Lot 0 or final art as of last month. And they're working on a ship or a vehicle, a previously announced vehicle, which is probably either the Ute or the G12. And we know that they're working on the Retaliator for Gold Standard. So, and the Polaris is beyond Gray Box. And CIG loves to talk about the Zeus. The Zeus has been in Gray Box for a while now, and they're showing it off on their sneak previews all the time. So those are the ships we're going to get. As for anything else, I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of other information. So.
I mean, and sometimes CIG can show something on a monitor, and the community can guess the rest of the Earl from just from what they saw.
Yeah,
you never know.
Nightcop, any
that's a deep reference for people who may not recognize. But go ahead.
It's the infamous Lando leak. It's not his fault. Not his fault.
Not his fault. Not his fault.
It wasn't. It was just no one secured that URL, which was stupid because they could have and should have. Nightcop, any guesses on what ships we'll see for Invictus and completed?
I mean, other than what you already stated for Polaris, my big thing is I care so little about the ships if they're not coming out with either a strong additive to the game, an existing game loop, or bringing in a game loop that hadn't existed prior to. So like if they did a new scanning ship, you know, and it came with the gameplay, not just, you know, the skin of a scanning ship. If it came with the gameplay, I'd be thrilled. And I'd be really excited for Invictus in that regard. But you know, even the Polaris is like, okay, it's, you know, it's a bigger just combat ship. It's not bringing any real new structured gameplay to the table. So I mean, it'll be cool, but it won't be, you know, I want game changing ships. That's where I'm at right now with ships. I
Mhm.
want ships that fundamentally aid the game in, you know, either completing a loop, help redefining a loop, or bringing a loop in. Like I would be way more excited, and I know it's Invictus, so it's not coming for this, but I'd be way more excited about like the Expanse.
Mhm.
Like that's a ship to get excited about because it's going to bring in refining gameplay on the player side of the equation, and that'll be a big deal. I look forward to that big deal.
Crew, same question. What new ships do you think we're going to see for Invictus? Any completed ships?
I don't care.
You don't care?
Well,
Yeah. Look, when you
Let's hang out, man.
when you've been around this game for so long as I have, man, it's like I don't care, man. Like I'm just like, hey, like give me a military spy drone ship. There you go. That's what
there we go.
Just a quick question. Like I came in 2014. How about you two?
I was 2014,
So I got my first package 2015. That's when we were at 2.6 and we couldn't leave the freaking hangar, and then I stopped playing until 2.63. So like 2016. So yeah. 2015, 2016.
Cobb,
2020.
2020. Okay. So you came in a little later.
Thanks,
than
COVID.
us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to the week after Invictus Week, Alien Week, but I'm probably going to be disappointed because they won't have the banner measurement out by then. But, yeah.
No, we might see more of the band immersion. Who knows? Maybe they're actually having people work on it. Who knows? But yeah, I understand the point, and I do want to kind of emphasize, especially for like newer players who are coming in, because I have seen a lot of newer people who've been like, yeah, I've been owned the game for about a month now in my chat, and it's just like, ooh, welcome to the salty old jaded Paul talking. But like generally speaking, I do think that a lot of older backers who've been around for a while, 3+ years, are kind of done with the ship thing, because like ships are always important in Star Citizen, but like after a bit, it's more been about like what new gameplay can you add? Because like I'm gonna be very honest, when the Pyro preview was released, it felt like a new game. When you were playing the Pyro preview, it felt like something completely different, and it was mostly just the same stuff we have now with maybe a couple little extras, but it felt so different compared to what we have in Stanton, that just the change in venue made the game more engaging. And it's new stuff, new vistas, new consequences, new place to explore, all that sort of things. So those sorts of new gameplay, that sort of new kind of like the distribution centers, that's much more higher up my list in terms of awesome stuff than any new ship, because that stuff is going to fundamentally change how we play the game, and I like that, So if you're wondering why so many players are more excited about the fucking star map being reworked than whatever ship that's coming out now,
that's like the Moby
like Fast Card said hard when you said star map.
Last question is from Steve.
One, guys. It's the last one.
Steve that answer asks, with the extended time with 3.23 coming out, do you feel this year will be a 2-patch year instead of a 4-patch year?
Ooh.
Because we skipped the Q1 patch, because like effectively the Q1 patch was 3.22.1. So
I think it'll be between 3 and 5. Let's call it a compromise, say 3/5. I'm not sure. I broke him.
Night Cobb.
Hey, look, I'm glad we're back into a reasonable set of expectations.
Yeah.
6 to 9. Oh, Jesus. It'd be a better world. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, well, that's what I was going to say. Jesus. I got focused on something else. Yeah, right. No, I think we're all okay with fewer patches per year as long as they're chock full of, gameplay goodness and quality of life improvements. Like, I don't think anybody cares, or at least I don't want to say that. That's speaking too much for everybody, but I think very few people at this point care about the quantity of patches as opposed to please just
Quality.
make sure they're loaded with good things. Because if it's a patch and it's a meaningless patch, a lot of us are just like,
Yeah.
yay. I get to reload my home station and I can get all my gear at the same place again. Thank God.
Mhm.
And I get to wonder whether or not I lost ships and rep and all that kind of stuff. But if it's got a lot of meaningful gameplay attached to it, man, we'll take that hit any day. If it's really bringing some new stuff to the table, it's like I don't care that I might have lost all the ships I paid for in game. You did a full wipe, whatever. It came with a lot of new gameplay, and I'm really excited.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3 doesn't matter.
True.
I agree.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, Xylo mentioned, like, we got a big list of stuff coming out this, next patch, 3.2.3, right? I'm pretty sure that, and that patch is already massive. Like, everybody wants it. It's going to change a lot of gameplay. I bet you that, I bet you that list was already bigger than it was, and they just chopped it down, and people are excited for it. And then that stuff is just getting moved over. Are we gonna have a 2-patch year? No, I don't think so. I think we're gonna have 2 or 3 big ones, and then the small one towards the end of the year. That's normally how that works. Where
I was going to say, like the one thing that I think that people really need to stop thinking about is that big name patches mean anything, because they don't. Like, CIG had 3.18, 3.19, 3.20, 3.21, and 3.22 in 1 year. But 3.21 was just 3.20, but a different patch number. But it was basically the same thing. It would have been a 3.20.1 or .2 patch. And same with 3.19. 3.19 was just 3.18.3. So if you actually look at it, they actually only had 3 patches. But you also have to look at the sub patches. Like, sub patches still matter as well, and often CIG adds content and or stability to sub patches too. So, like, the reality is that CIG could name each patch after some condiment. Like, the name just is a name. It doesn't mean anything. I've joked
run out of those a long time ago, though.
Change this character's face. It's a new patch. There you go.
I've joked that they should name patches after various CIG members, but they said that they would that would be cruel, unusual punishment depending on which patch gets what. It's like, the John Crew patch sucks ass, and or whatever,
Yeah, but we all knew that was going to be the case when they named it.
How about 4.0?
I'm just kidding, John Crew.
Well, I mean,
we love you.
That's the thing. The thing is that, like, and I got that fast card. I'm just gonna keep rolling right over it because that's fine.
That's fine.
But the like other patches or other games, Stellaris famously does patches based off of sci-fi authors. So, like, they've had, like, the Clark patch and the Heinlein patch and the I don't think they've gotten to the Philip K. Dick patch because that would be a very, very funny patch. But that sort of thing.
Hopefully that's a big patch, not a little one.
It's a big patch, but it's a lot of LSD inside of it. So
it better come packing. You know what I mean?
You see it. CIG could just start naming the patches after various animals in the verse. It doesn't really matter. And my point being is that don't attach so much importance to the name of the patch or whatever the number is. What matters is the content inside of that patch.
That's right. It's all about the size, guys. All right?
Yes. It's not about whatever, not the name. It's the size.
No, wait. When it comes to patches, it matters how you use it.
Thank you for watching. This has been the Captain's Table.
It's been a final show.
Yeah. Good to see you all. Hope you enjoyed it. 6 years is a good run.
Yeah, man, it's good game. Good game.
Atmo-
GG's, everybody.
Atmo Esports is shutting down tomorrow.
Table broke in half.
Yeah.
Fast
Yeah.
card ran it over.
Make sure you come to Star Citizen tomorrow because we are doing giveaway for our 4th anniversary show, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC. And like I said before, one of the things we are giving away is a Squadron 42 package. So if you don't have Squadron 42, or you know someone who doesn't have Squadron 42, come on over and try to win it. And
Giving away an emancipation pack.
No, that would be a
does it
date
feel-
with fast
how does it
card.
feel
That would be
listening
a
to-
date with fast card. That's the emancipation pack.
How does it feel listening to him plug his shows after he's already destroyed yours? Like
It
don't
feels
worry,
bad.
guys.
It feels bad.
I know this is Paul's last show, but come on down to Soul Citizen.
It's okay.
We got
It's
you covered.
okay. It's
It's a
okay.
cleaner, more family-friendly show down there.
At some point, Fastcart is going to make the mistake, or somebody at Soul Citizen is going to make the mistake of inviting me back on, and then the revenge will be sweet. And
Forward to it.
Oh,
crew, do you have a final date for System 7, or is it still practicing?
No, so registration's already closed, and we're already we had over 50 something signups for teams, and then our qualifiers begin on March 16th. So that's when we're gonna see who's gonna qualify for the top 16s, and then from the top 16, the System 7 Racing League begins. So just like a F1 style racing league. It's point based, so it's made on 7 different tracks around. Currently Stanton, until we get more, pyro, and we'll put more tracks on pyro and things like that. So I mean, it's a really fun league, very competitive. Some of the top, like even obviously people are gonna say, oh, but the model sucks. Look, man, these racers put in a lot of time, a lot of effort in racing, and whether the game is bad or not, like there are some insane races in the System 7. So if you want to see like some top level competition, like you'll find it there. That's a promise. So
Awesome. And unfortunately, our Armchair Admirals and Generals is currently on hiatus until Tree either finishes moving in or has his children, because he's having twins, for those who don't know. So
Yeah.
he's very, very busy. Yeah. His wife got
Wait,
his
Wait, he's having twins? Who's the
Yeah.
mother?
I don't even.
to
Nobody
go-
knows how to answer that question. I don't, all of us are just like, what do we do with that?
I could make a Marine joke, but I'm not going to.
None of us know how to deal with that one. That's solid. That's solid.
I did my job well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So he's very busy. It was a planned pregnancy, but not a planned twindacy. So they had to move to a brand new house. So he's in the process of moving to a new house, which apparently has a nice studio set up. But he's also like, face deep in moving, and anyone who's ever moved anywhere at any time can tell you it is a pain in the ass. So unfortunately that's going to be on hiatus for a bit. But thank you for watching. And if you did enjoy this last episode of the Captain's Table, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive. I'll actually be live tomorrow doing some Helldivers with some of the crew. So, if you did enjoy this, hit that follow button on Twitch, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. I'd love to have you come out when we do these live. If this is in fact not the last one, which will be at Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, which is like midnight UTC, I think, midnight UK time. So, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to crew. Thank you to Fastcart and to Nightcap for coming on and talking. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.
why the black though?